November 19th from 9 to 5. Featured artists Becky and Galen Bach. There will be hourly prize drawings. Admission is $2. Children 12 and under free. Proceeds benefit the youth of our community.
The Winter Wonderland Christmas auction to benefit Chaves County CASA programs and the Artesia Children's Advocacy Center will be held at First American Bank in Roswell at 111 East 5th on Friday, November 18th, starting at 5 p.m. The live auction event entry tickets are $50 each and includes food and drink. There are also online and in-person silent auctions.
If you have an item for Talktivities, email it to calendar@pvbcradio.com. That's calendar@pvbcradio.com.
Hugh Hewitt is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. During an especially challenging time for ties between their countries, President Biden and Chinese President Xi have met on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Indonesia. Mr. Biden saying the current strains in U.S.-China relations not in the best interest of either country.
The world expects, I believe, China and the United States to play key roles in addressing global challenges from climate changes to food insecurity and for us to be able to work together. The United States stands ready to do just that, work with you if that's what you desire.
Ukrainian President Zelensky has made a triumphant visit to the newly liberated city of Kherson. He hails the Russian withdrawal from the city as the beginning of the end of the war. Well, like just about everything else, cost of holiday travel is higher this year.
Airline executives say they expect a huge demand for flights over Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. And they say the best deals for airfare or hotel already have gone. Government data shows that airfares in October were up 43% from a year earlier. That's partly because airlines are still operating fewer flights than in 2019. Passenger numbers are nearly back to pre-pandemic levels. The hotel search company Trivago says hotel prices are up everywhere. Booking Holdings, which owns travel sites Priceline and Kayak, says hotels are struggling with labor shortages. I'm Donna Warder.
The University of Virginia Charlottesville under a shelter-in-place order this morning following a deadly on-campus shooting in a parking garage last night. 3 people were killed and police searching for a 22-year-old suspect. On Wall Street, Dow futures are down 49 points. NASDAQ futures off 71. More on these stories at townhall.com.
You know how much you're really paying for life insurance through work? I can almost guarantee you're overpaying for limited coverage. I'm Joel Clark, a Select Quote agent for over 20 years. My clients are shocked to learn how expensive life insurance at work really is because of a rate that's driven up by unhealthy people. Why pay more when you don't have to? For over 35 years, Select Quote has helped people save 50% or more by shopping highly rated insurance carriers. I found a 40-year-old man with high blood pressure, a $500,000 policy for only $18 a month. Don't procrastinate. Workplace open enrollment will be here soon. Let SelectQuote save you money and get you the coverage you need to protect your family.
For your free quote in just minutes, call 1-800-865-2266. That's 1-800-865-2266. 1-800-865-2266. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Full details on example policy and carrier ratings at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Price could vary by health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Sri Lanka's government has produced a budget it hopes will satisfy the conditions for an international loan without sparking more social unrest.
They are going to increase a government's revenue model. For example, they want to restructure some of the state sector companies like Sri Lankan Airlines, Sri Lanka Telecom, and some prime properties in the capital, Colombo. And any proceeds from that, will be added to the central government, which means basically they want more money. And in terms of attracting investments, they want to have special investment zones in 3 different parts of the country.
The BBC's Embarrassing Etirajan reporting. The UK and French interior ministers have signed an agreement. It will see more police patrols at beaches in northern France in a bid to stop people trying to cross the English Channel in small boats. It's a regular source of friction between the two countries. News and analysis, townhall.com. Bali is hoping a meeting of world leaders taking place there will provide a global PR boost for the Indonesian island.
The summit is drawing a welcoming spotlight on the vital tourism sector of the tropical destination. The main culprit for Bali's flailing tourism industry is the COVID-19 pandemic. Before the pandemic, over 6 million people came to Bali each year. In 2020, that figure dropped to only 1 million. This was partly because the island only opened to Indonesians halfway through the year, and by July 2021, a surge in cases emptied the island once more. Even though things are looking much better now, the recovery will take time, even if COVID-19 is kept at bay. I'm Karen Chamas.
Congress returning to work today amid an extremely volatile post-election landscape. Newly elected members of Congress arriving for today's orientation week on Capitol Hill. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Monday, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to it.
Yeah.
Hope you're having a delightful day so far. I know it's Monday.
Yep.
It was a busy weekend. We had a lot going on.
There was a whole lot this weekend.
Yeah, we, of course, congratulations to the Goddard Lady Rocket volleyball team.
Indeed.
State champions after...
cleaned it in 3 rounds.
Yeah, they defeated St. Pius in the championship game 3-0 on Saturday. That was a good matchup. And then, of course, we had football playoffs. The Roswell Coyotes and the Artesia Bulldogs advanced.
Yep, both in shutouts.
Yeah, Goddard football team fell to Deming Friday night, so they're done for the season. So, but we will, from what I understand, Artesia Deming will be on Saturday, and Roswell PV, I'm hearing, will be Saturday as well.
Okay.
So I know 1 o'clock. I think that's pretty much set for Goddard. I'm not certain on Roswell High yet. But,
is Roswell? Are we here or?
And I think Roswell's here. I think PV owes Roswell.
Okay.
Kelly did a great job of explaining all that on Saturday, and I failed to remember any of it. But by the way, thank you to Coach Chris Deck, Coach Kelly McDonald, and Jovi Hotling. All 3 of them were all over the state.
Just all over New Mexico.
Last week. Of course, Kelly and Joby started in Rio Rancho Thursday with the playoffs. And then after Friday's action, both of them came back home to cover football on Saturday. Coach Deck called the football game for Goddard Friday night and then booked it to Rio Rancho right after that so he could be in Rio Rancho to call the 8 a.m. Goddard semifinal matchup, which he was there for. And so big thank you to Chris Deck and Kelly McDonald and Joby Hotling. They did a great job this weekend, gallivanting all over the state, calling football and volleyball for us. And so next weekend, they just got a couple of football games. So.
Next weekend's going to seem like a breeze compared to this weekend.
Oh, and then Kelly, after he did the football game, the Roswell game Saturday, we found out Friday that we had a NIMI game to do as well. So him and his son did NIMI and Roswell High Saturday. And then, of course, Coach Deck did the volleyball Saturday, and then football Friday. And then Joby was football Saturday.
Yeah.
So they've been all over the place.
Meanwhile, Art Sandoval peed on a tree and shot at a rabbit.
He better have bagged it, too.
He missed a rabbit.
You got to get Kelly at least something, you know.
He coated himself in
something.
deer pee and stuck himself in a tree for 13 hours.
So Art better at least bring Kelly and him some jerky or something.
I know, I know it's fun, and it's, you know, it gets you back to the, you know, to the wilds. I don't think I have the patience to hunt.
Probably not.
To sit in silence and wait for a thing.
You're too loud.
It's not even that I'm loud. It's just that I'm fidgety.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you give me something to do with my hands, then yeah, I can wait. But you give me a firearm, I'm probably going to start shooting off the firearm, you know?
That's
for something to do with my hands.
And some people aren't built to be hunters.
I'm just saying.
He's just one of them. Some are gatherers, some are hunters.
The idea of going into the woods with a bunch of dudes and coating myself in deer pee. I mean, I'm sure it appeals on a certain level.
Yeah.
You know, it scratches that primordial itch.
Yeah. I like camping. I like all that. But
sure.
I too don't have patience for hunting. It's just that
I can fish. I'll fish all day. That's fine.
I guess if I'm by myself, I'd be fine. But when I bring others, then I don't want to do it. It's like if I'm going to be hunting, I'd rather be by myself, you know, in the woods with my thoughts and probably
Rambo style. Gotcha.
Exactly.
John Rambo
just
style.
sharpening a knife.
A bunch of war paint on your face.
Yeah.
Just hide in the bushes.
That's a good time.
Of course, at that point you're crazy. If you're going melee weapons on a deer, you took him out straight in the neck.
You never know what you're coming across in the woods.
He jumped on him, gorilla monsoon style. It was crazy. Rode that thing for 45 acres.
But well, if you see Art and he comes back, say hi to him there. So, of course, I mean, I'm just scratching the surface here. We had Veterans Day celebration. That was a big success on Saturday. Thank you to everyone that came out. We had a good turnout here on the courthouse lawn. Just another good ceremony, and everything went well there. And so, so it was a busy weekend. So I hope everybody had a good time. And, of course, all the playoff football and volleyball and all that. Basketball coming, don't worry. It's not there yet.
Everybody shared the Wool Bowl parking lot pretty
it was kind
peacefully.
of just in and out, one thing after another there for the weekend here. So despite the cold, we had a good crowd and everything. It was chilly Saturday morning, man. That was cold.
This has been a cold weekend all around.
And I didn't realize how cold I was till I got home later, and then got home and my legs and everything just started thawing. I was like, wow, I didn't realize how cold it was out there. So until I got out of it and sat down for a little bit. So
I turned into a 78-year-old woman this weekend. I basically spent all the time I wasn't doing stuff, walking around my house wrapped in a blanket with a hot beverage and house shoes. It was,
it's a good day.
Waiting for Matlock.
Yeah. So speaking of course, I didn't get Washington didn't play yesterday. They play tonight, so I'll be disappointed this evening.
Packers won.
Packers did win. Sorry, Cowboys fans.
No, I'm just throwing it out there.
My team stinks, but we beat the Packers.
All right, fair enough.
Hey, I can flex that today.
That's true.
Today,
any given Sunday, man.
Before the Eagles just stomp a mud hole in us tonight's game, I can talk right now. Till then, I can't.
I'd say you guys are on the same level as like a Philly.
Oh, please. We stink. Philly's
you guys are on a bit of a tear lately.
Yeah. Philly's going to kill us. Watch. It's Monday Night Football. We never do well on Monday night. National, and then against the Eagles, every time there's been the body bag game, there's the fog game.
The Fog Bowl.
These were Monday night games, and Philly and Washington, and none of them end well for Washington. The only time Washington did well on Monday night that I remember was when we played Dallas, and we had what's his name, our backup in Colt McCoy. And Colt McCoy lit up the Cowboys like it was his Super Bowl, and he did, and that was because he's from Texas, and he felt the need to. And that's the only time on Monday night in recent memory I can remember Washington ever not embarrassing me. So,
but they've got the spirit of Uncle Joe with them, so I mean, you got to remember that.
Jimmy,
Uncle Jimmy, sorry, Uncle Jimmy.
didn't help
Slipping
last
Jimmy.
week.
That's right. Well, he was busy last week.
Yeah, he was.
There's only so much, Uncle Jimmy can do.
Getting the team to sell and all that.
That's right. He's dealing with the financials.
Focus on Philly this week. All right, let me give you the rundown for today's show. We do have a full slate for you. Matt Bristol with Bristol Law Office going to join us upstairs here, his office here in the building with us. He joins us once a month, talk Sage legal advice with us. So we'll have more Sage legal advice for you here in just a bit. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, we're going to have the folks from the Chaves County Extension Office join us. I'm not sure if it's going to be Drew, Andrea, and Tamara, or all three, maybe, but they'll give us an update here. They're out of pocket tomorrow, so they're going to join us today. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, we're going to have the folks from Carabelli Dental, Dr. Keon Agar and Dr. Sarah Usher will join us, give us an update on what they've got going on out at Carabelli Dental. Plus, we'll have all of your features that include the news of the local and national variety, Wall Street Town Hall business updates, and, of course, Kim Commando and Hannity and all those, and whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show. It is 7:15. Let's go ahead and take a look at your weather. Whether or not you like it, well, that's up to you.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have cold front on its way through our area. We'll hit about 50 for the afternoon high today, but the wind will be gusty, up to 35 miles per hour, and we should get sunshine through the day. Clear for the overnight hours and getting pretty cold, down to the mid-20s on our low, and then a cool Tuesday coming up with a mix of sunshine and clouds. Our high in the upper 40s, low 40s, and fair Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 38 degrees and a little breezy out there. And a little cloudy, actually. Kind of, I don't know, from my angle, it looks a little almost like rain clouds, but no talk of rain. But do have cooler. If you like fall, almost winter temps, this week should be your favorite because we're not getting out of the 50s this week. Sunny, highs near 50 today. Winds will remain breezy out of the north, 20 to 25. Gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. Afternoon, we're actually going to see a decrease. Thank goodness. 15 to 20 for the afternoon, if you want to call that a decrease. For tonight, mostly clear. Overnight low of 25 degrees. Winds will be out of the northeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. So, by the way, anytime we get below freeze in there, don't forget to trickle the water on your spigots for those. Especially those pipes and things that aren't inside the home. They're on the outer edges. Make sure you get those insulated up and everything. But trickle the water tonight to keep things flowing. For your Tuesday, we're not going to get out of the 40s tomorrow. Partly sunny, high near 46. Winds will be out of the northeast at around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy. Overnight low of 30, so a little warmer. Still below freezing, though. East winds at around 5 miles per hour. Wednesday, mostly sunny. Highs, once again, right around 46. East winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Yeah, you might as well just put your coat out and put it on the hanger now because pack it out of the closet there. You might be needing it pretty consistently now here in New Mexico. And then Thursday, sunny skies, back into the mid-50s by Thursday. Friday, back down into the 40s, mostly sunny, 47. And then weekend, about the same, partly cloudy, 44 on Saturday, sunny and 53 on Sunday. So, yeah, chilly week here in New Mexico, kind of leading up into Thanksgiving and all that here next week. So, starting to feel like not summer and not spring and not normal here in New Mexico. All right, it is 7:18. We're going to get you into your Roswell Livestock Report with Smiley Wooten this morning as he gives you the preview of what's happening for today's auction. And then on the other side of the break, we'll have Matt Bristol Office, join us here on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. A good November run this week with a nice selection of all classes of cattle, especially high-quality native calves, light yearlings, bred cows. We expect to sell 1,900 head, breaking down like this: 275 to 300 weighing cows and bulls, 150 to 200 pairs, bred cows, 1,400, 1,500 calves and yearlings. Today's sale will include 10 cow-calf pairs and 40 bred cows. Sierra Verde Ranch, Magdalena, New Mexico. Ex-quality black, white-face Angus cross cows. Good condition with calves and bred to Hereford and Angus bulls. 5 to 10 years old, 32 calves. Cooper Ranches here northeast of Roswell. Ex-quality Black Angus cross calves, shots at Brandon, medium condition, 350, 500 pounds. 69 calves, NK Ranch, Portales, New Mexico. Good quality English crossbred calves. Cattle wean 100 plus days. Virus Shield 6, Covection 8, Bunk Broke, 375, 500 pounds. 50 calves, Mr. Marion Valencia at Duran, New Mexico. Ex-quality Black Angus cross calves, shots at Brandon, 375, 500 pounds. 36 calves, Mr. Skylar Pierce here north of Roswell. Ex-quality black white face Angus and exotic crossbred calves, Boa Shield Gold 7-way at Brandon, 400, 550 pounds. 71 calves, Braham Hindi and Sons, Corona, New Mexico. Ex-quality Black Angus cross calves, shots at Brandon, 400, 550 pounds. 54 calves, Miss Gail Langale, Moriarty, New Mexico. Ex-quality Black Angus cross calves, shots at Brandon, 450, 600 pounds. 31 steers, Espy Ranch, Fort Davis, Texas. Ex-quality black white face Angus cross yearlings. Cattle wean 60 plus days, 2 rounds of shots, 500, 700 pounds. And 35 calves, Michelle Lint, Bosque Farms, New Mexico. 80% black white face Angus and Brangus crosses, long time weaned shots, 250, 350 pounds. Sale time this morning be 9 o'clock. Sell pairs of bred cows 10:30. Be selling calves and yearlings about 11:30 to 12 o'clock noon. We expect to sell 1,900 head here today. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
Fall is here, but it's not too late to get to Graves Farm and Garden and stock up on green chili in mild, medium, or hot, as well as dried red chili, perfect for Thanksgiving and seasonal recipes. Plus, firewood by the cord, delivered and stacked. Now's the time to stock up on hay bales with Sudan and alfalfa in both small and large bales. And the Graves Farm store is open Monday through Saturday, 8:30 to 5:30, and Sundays 1 to 5. 7.5 miles south of Roswell on the Old Dexter Highway. Graves Farm and Garden, where locally owned means locally grown.
Chimera Independent Physicians offers world-class health care right here in Roswell. With their state-of-the-art facility, your family can receive expert care from many specialty doctors and experts covering oncology, hematology, neurology, rheumatology, endocrinology, primary care, and internal medicine. Lab services, radiology, and infusion center, all without leaving our community. Chimera Independent Physicians, located at 400 Military Heights Place, near the corner of Country Club and Military Heights in Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. More than 50% of Americans fall asleep on their sides. That's way better than falling asleep on someone else's side. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from Bristol Law Office, Matt Bristol back with us. Good morning, Matt.
Morning, Mike. How are you doing?
Doing great. How's life at the Bristol household this morning?
It was chilly, children out there, so be sure and wear your coat today. It's like 38 degrees. The wind's about 25 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So the wind chill is about 15. So let's everybody bundle up warm.
Yeah, it is chilly, and it looks cold when you look out the windows this morning, just seeing it, and you're like, oh, you can tell that's not warm out there. So
yeah, be sure to look to the north because that's where the wind's coming from. And you see the trees shake, and it's pretty windy out there.
Yeah, so bundle up. I know we're not officially in winter yet, but it kind of feels like it this week. So
it does. And Mike, thank you, Veterans Day. Thank you for being a veteran. Thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a great weekend. We had a lot of last week and this past weekend with Veterans Day. The schools and various church entities and stuff that did veterans programs around the community here all did amazing jobs. So it was really good.
Oh, good. Yeah, I had a great uncle who flew in the 8th Air Force.
Oh, wow.
Out of England. And they actually had a higher mortality rate than the Marines did in the Pacific.
I can imagine that. Those air campaigns, if you were with a bombing crew during World War II, your percentage rate of survivability was not the highest.
It was not. It was tough. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just you're basically sitting duck up there, and you're hitting with flak, you're hitting with fighters, and then depending on what the missions are, and there was they'd send up 50 B-17s on a bombing run, and 25 may come back sometimes.
Yeah, somehow he survived. Bless his little heart.
Yeah. So, that was a special breed that Like I knew a guy, he was our neighbor for many years, my grandparents. He was a belly gunner on a B-17. Yeah, and he was a nice guy, but he had his moments where you're like, okay, he's a little something that affected him. You could tell that affected
them. And the tail gunners. They were alone for so many hours. They suffered from sensory deprivation.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, and by the way, those B-17s were pressurized cabins and everything, so it's freezing cold up there. It's they're exposed to the elements at 10,000 feet or whatever altitude they're flying at.
Oh, yeah.
That's why they're wearing the big bomber jackets, the big leather jackets, because they're literally in sub-freezing conditions up there while getting shot at and in a metal tube.
Uninsulated metal tube.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of... by the way, did you see that at the air show this weekend?
Oh, yeah.
I think it was in Dallas. Yeah.
In Dallas.
That B-17 and basically cut in half by the
Air Cobra,
yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, what was that Air Cobra pilot thinking? Maybe his controls failed.
Yeah, I don't know if it controlled or if it just lost its bearings, or I'm not sure if those things have radar or what on them. I imagine more modernized. If they're doing stunt flying, they probably
B-17
modernized
was in front of him.
Yeah.
He flew in from
and that's what I'm
into
wondering. I imagine they're reenacting a battle of some kind, and I'm guessing maybe he lost where he was up there. Because I think they do that at air shows where they'll take a B-17 and they'll get some World War II, and they kind of simulate like a little dogfight,
Maybe,
thing.
yeah.
And I think they were trying to do something like that, and I'm guessing, that's the thing with precision. It's like a ballet or a dance. If one thing's slightly off, then something like this happens. And that's what happens.
Or maybe his control failed. He got target fixation.
Could be, yeah. It could be mechanical too. It could be the stick locked up, and who knows what happened.
But it was like boom, bam.
Yeah, those planes are World War II era planes. They're not loaded down with computers and navigation and all the things that more modern aircraft have.
Right.
So to maybe avoid stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I had another uncle who served in the Pacific on a bomber, and he said when the war was over, they had to fly the planes home, and all the air crews were like, "Really?
Right? Like, can I get
over all that water?
Yeah,
do we have to?
Can I get on a boat? Take a nice slow cruise back across the pond here." Of course, with all the German U-boats, I don't know if I'd want that either. So even after the war, one disgruntled one floating around out there.
Oh yeah, he said their navigator had kind of sort of a sense of humor. They were flying actually to Iwo Jima one time, and of course, they were flying over this water for however many hours, and finally, the navigator says, "All right, everybody, keep an eye out. Should be around here somewhere." Don't do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look, there's all kinds of stories of that kind of stuff from World War II and, setting up fake bases to bomb and everything else. So, I mean, it was all, as much as the, strategy was going, there was much kind of subterfuge going on. And there was all kinds of stories of Germans and the Allies building fake bases. So they bombed those instead of the real bases.
Oh, yeah.
Or create a fake defense that looks formidable that they don't attack, even though it's all logs and smoke and mirrors. There's all kinds of stories throughout World War II and previous wars about that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, the American Brits, they actually had a dead soldier, and they dressed the body up in civilian clothes and the top secret invasion plans in his pocket and threw him in the Mediterranean.
Wow.
And of course the body washed up on the shore. The Germans found the top secret plans, and there's a lot of subterfuge going on.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. If you ever get bored, go ahead and do some research on some of that. You'll probably go into some pretty fun rabbit holes and learn about quite a bit of stuff. So.
Oh yeah, a lot of interesting stuff.
Absolutely, but yes, good Veterans Day here. Of course, if folks not familiar, Matt joins us once a month here and talks sage legal advice with folks here. We cover. And really, it kind of follows a lot with financial planning too. Even though he's an attorney, not an accountant, but in the legal world, a lot of times bankruptcy, these things happen because the financial planning side wasn't done properly here. So even though he's a lawyer, he talks legal. A lot of it falls into the financial world to avoid having to get to the legal part and keep it into the financial part.
Yepers, that's indeedy.
And that's where Matt really shines at helping people and kind of giving them advice and kind of navigating them through those hairy situations that at some point in your life you all seem to come across. Wills. Anytime there's a family in dealing with property and estate planning and all that, there's a lot of emotion and legal that can get involved with that, along with the financial side.
Sure enough. And actually, the topic today is, avoiding, the older I get, the more important I think avoiding the wrong decision is more important than making the right decision.
I can appreciate that as we all age and get older, but now I'm, going into the 50s here, and I'm kind of, I'm getting that mindset too, where, the older you get, this is where that wisdom thing comes in. Right? They kept telling us about when we were younger, in their 20s and everything. You're just headstrong and dumb, and you just do what you think is you can rely on your youth and strength and your, and that side. But when you start getting in your 50s, 40s, 50s and above, 60s and on, you're now it's always the, and I don't want to tell the whole joke because it's not family friendly, but it's the old bull, young bull situation. If you've heard that joke about running down the hill, I'll just leave it at there. And but that's the difference between youth and energy and age and wisdom, right? And that joke sums it up in that joke. So.
Well, but if you if you make a bad decision, now you're behind the 8 ball.
Sure, you don't have the time to fix it or
to make an extra effort to fix it.
Yeah.
So one of the mistakes that we see people make, unfortunately, is when they pull out their 401ks to pay bills. And typically those bills are going to be unsecured debt, like credit card or medical or something. And that is an example of a wrong decision.
No, because you're basically selling the farm to fix a quick need. And that's right. That in the long term of things, you don't, that you're messing with, when it comes to your retirement, your future, your planning, when you put that money into whatever it is you're saving for the future, you want to, the best mindset's always been send it and forget it and pretend it's not part of the portfolio.
Right.
And, keep building it and keep maintaining it, but you never pull from it unless, not because you're overwhelmed in credit card, more dire than that. Like you're about to lose your house maybe or something like that. But if you're just behind on bills, 401ks and retirement, that stuff that you don't really want to mess with.
Don't touch that stuff. That's for your permanent future, and you don't want to be wasting it on.
Otherwise, there's no point in you doing that, because now you're putting a Band-Aid on your temporary fix, and now you're going to have you're not going to have a retirement, or you're cutting into something that you're hoping that. So now guess what? You're working at Allsups when you're 75,
right?
Because that's you got to keep working.
And under New Mexico state law, all forms of retirement are protected from creditors. So to GMAT, what happens if I don't pay the bill? They're going to sue me? Well, maybe, but they can't touch your retirement.
Yeah.
Your retirement's protected by law.
Yeah. Now, granted, you might have to go bankruptcy, or depending on, how bad we're talking all this, but
could be other options.
But your retirement is still protected. When you decide to retire, whatever age that is, your nest egg is still there, ready for you.
Yeah, I mean, because once you blow that retirement, you can't go backwards in time to make up for it. It's very, very difficult.
And building retirement, and this is why guys like Matt and certainly financial planners always say the younger you start, the easier it is, and vice versa. The older you start, the harder it is. But when you dip into it, say you started young. I started in my 20s. Now I built up something here in my 40s, and then something happens in your 40s where you spread too thin, or you maybe made a gamble and it didn't work. And next thing you know, you're thinking, "Oh, great! Well, I'll use my 401k. Wonderful." But you know how long it took you to accrue that? It's going to be even harder now that you're in your 40s doing it, and you've got less time to do it.
Exactly.
And that's why it's so dangerous. It's like that nest egg you built, you may not have enough time to rebuild it back up. I mean, unless you some lucky fortune falls your way, odds are you're going to have trouble recouping what you paid out the first time.
So as you were saying, start young. So let's say, for example, we got Mike number 1, and at the age of 18, he starts putting $100 a month towards retirement. He does it till he's the age of 30. Does it for 12 years. Stops, and he retires at 65. Mike number 2 wait until he's 30 years old, puts $100 a month in until he's 65 and retires. 3 times as long. So at age 65, who's got more money?
If you did it, if you just think topically, you're going to think the person who's been doing it once they start at 30. But I'm thinking with interest rates and everything else, and that money's been sitting, I imagine the person who started younger probably is going to have more money. At
Mike number one.
Yeah.
Not 66. Mike 2 catches up. But he had to put away 3 times as much money just to catch up.
Sure.
So that's how important it is to start early.
Yeah.
So parents, help your kids start early.
That's kind of the lesson when we talk, because at the end of the day, when you're talking about financial planning, you're trying to make your money work for you. Like you're investing it and putting it in things that it's going to grow. If you start that when you're 20 and just let it do that for like Matt's saying here, that's a lot more time for it to grow than when you're sitting there at 10 years later putting it in and saying, all right, here's my $100 and I'm just doing that. There's not enough time for it to grow and to reinvest and, do all the, when we talk about stock market and all that. Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, it's a volatile and it's gambling. It's going to Vegas and throwing your money in a slot machine. It's about this. If you don't know what you're doing, but if you're smart about it and you do it smartly and talk to the right people, then it's not like throwing your money into a slot machine. It's more of a strategic plan, and you're basing information and growth and potentials, and you're also evaluating what your own personal wants are. If you're wanting an aggressive, then you do the riskier things. But if you're kind of like, no, I want retirement. I'm going to start in my 25 here, and I'm going to let this thing percolate till I'm in my 60s and just let it grow and build and do its thing slowly, which odds are you're going to have a lot more money, because those are safer, less riskier investments in the stock market, less volatile things that are more tried and true.
Well, you have to educate yourself.
Yeah.
And so that even if you do go somewhere to get advice, you need to know whether advice is good or bad. You just have to educate yourself. So another area where we see people make bad decisions is it's an older couple, and for some reason, they've run up the credit cards. It may be they didn't save enough for retirement. They don't have enough Social Security, and they've had to use credit cards maybe for groceries or medicine. And the mistake that we see them make is they get a reverse mortgage to pay the credit card.
Okay.
And it's like, well, why do that? Or home equity line of credit.
Now you're selling.
It's even worse.
Sure.
Because you have to pay back the home equity line of credit. Well, whereas if they just filed bankruptcy, they could have got rid of the credit cards. About 80% of the time, they're judgment proof anyway. Because even if they don't pay the credit cards, usually the house is protected by state law.
Sure.
The Social Security can't be garnished. That's federal law. And again, state law protects any kind of retirement income if they have PERA or ERA, or even pull money out of an IRA. That's retirement income. It's protected from garnishment.
So in that case, reverse mortgage is dumb.
Then, yeah, it's incredibly dumb to pull out that reverse mortgage to pay credit cards when you could have used that for the groceries, use that for the medication, or, some kind of medical aid.
Yeah. But, and that's, and reverse mortgages, that's another one of those where people, there is a time and a place for those. And some families might benefit from that. But if you're trying to create nest eggs and trying to bequeath some money to
children or
younger
grandchildren
and things, the reverse mortgage thing is not your way to go. Now, if you don't have any grandkids or nothing, and it's just you and the couple here and all of that, then maybe the reverse mortgage is you can't take it with you mentality, and you got no one to leave it to. Maybe that's not a bad option for you. But then again, there's other options too. If you're trying to get out of debt, through like credit card debts and things, maybe reverse mortgage is something that shouldn't be off the table, or that's the last step as opposed to.
It's a very specialized area.
Yeah.
You have to be very careful how you use that because you only get to use it once.
Yeah. And obviously you're kind of, you're selling the future to bet on yourself now is what you're kind of doing. And when you're in the retirement years, that's not always the first option people want to start thinking about. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So another area where we see people fail to make good decisions is, let's say you have an adult child who's a single parent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if your adult child is in a car wreck, taken to the ER, who the doctor's going to talk to about that child's treatment, medical treatment?
Well, usually it's a spouse if there is one, but if they're single
parent,
then it's I guess the parents.
Now, without a medical POA, mommy and daddy, that's going to be your child sitting laying on that hospital bed
So
because
if you're
of the
a
HIPAA laws.
Okay, so if you're a single adult, you probably need to have something in place like that.
Absolutely.
And the problem is, how many of us in our 20s are thinking about something like that?
Well, but the parents of the 25-year-old need to think about that.
Exactly.
Get that medical POA for their adult single-parent
Either
child.
that or get them married off so they're someone else's problem.
Well, so here's phase 2 of the problem is, let's say your adult child, single parent, passes away in the car wreck.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to raise that grandbaby?
Oops. Yeah.
Didn't think about that.
Well, if you're a parent and you don't have a will, you're making a huge mistake.
Yep.
It's one thing for a single person to not have a will in their 20s. I mean, you don't have a lot of assets. It's not the end of the world here. But if you're
You got a child.
yeah, if you have kids, if you're bringing other human beings onto this earth and you've already done that, then the rules are a little different for you. You just started adulthood a little earlier than others did, so you're going to have to do adulthood things earlier than others did.
You need a will that states
Yeah.
who's going to raise that baby in the event you pass away. It's testamentary
Yeah.
guardian.
Anytime you bring a child into this, then the game changes because the focus shifts from just you to the future of that kid. And as a parent, your priority number one went from taking care of you to taking care of that child. And that's just how parenting is. So you've got to change your mindset. You got to think, okay, I need a will. What happens tomorrow? Not even just money, just what happens tomorrow if I'm not here? Where does this kid go? I don't know.
Where's the kid going to spend the night?
Yeah.
Nobody has authority to sign the kid up for school, sports. Nobody has authority to take the child to the doctor's office. And now you got this big fight that could be between the two sets of grandparents.
Absolutely.
It could be, the sister-in-law who drinks beer all the time and wants custody of the kid because this free social security check.
The spouse you have this with, are you guys good together or are you guys separated? And are they ably fit to be the parent?
Well,
if you're not?
The other bio parents got first shot.
Yeah.
And if they're not a good parent, then that kid's getting in trouble.
Yeah. But so yes, so please, so if you're young and you have kids already, you need to be the first thing you should be doing here is getting this will set up, because accidents, and this is the thing, in your 20s and you're younger, you don't think of the bus hitting you around the corner because that's, I'm gonna live forever. But that's, truth be told, especially young people, most of the time, it's an accident, something like that. If you're not getting involved with drugs and all that changes the game. But if you're just an average person who's not into all that, odds
It's the out of the wild blue stuff.
Falling down the steps and hitting your head or doing the one thing that, and next thing you know, that little accident now turns the whole future of your family is in balance here. So please, if you're having kids, I don't care if you're 18, you need to start doing the will and start getting that ready for the child that you brought into this world.
Mom and dad, if you've got an adult child who's single, you need to get a medical POA over that child if you want to have any kind of input on their medical care.
Absolutely.
So another area where we see people fail to make the right decision is in a second marriage. Often they fail to provide for the second spouse. So let's say, for example, Mike, husband owns a house pre-marriage. He's married 20 years to the second wife, never puts her on the deed to the home. And naturally, he always dies without the will.
Of course.
So now, what does surviving spouse do? Who gets the house?
That could be a fight.
There will be a fight.
Yeah.
So it was husband's sole and separate property. He had it pre-marriage. And so that passes 1/4 to the surviving spouse, but 3/4 to his children. So now the stepchildren with the evil stepmom or whatever, it's now they own 3/4 of that house. And if she wants to stay in the house, she's got to come up with the money.
Yeah.
So that's, he should have taken care of that.
Sure, make
better.
that plan, and I don't care how agreeable your family is in these scenarios, and you've got
They won't be after somebody dies.
Yeah, but unless you have it down in a will or down in a something legalized form, you can't just, well, I'm going to give it to everybody when I die. And it's like, great, but if there's no documentation to say that, it's he said, she said, and you know that never ends well. And
right.
So
the dad's instructions were don't count.
Mm-hmm.
Then the dead guy told me doesn't count. That's all hearsay. It has to be written to type in New Mexico. It has to be typed will.
Yeah, not even video. You can't whip out your phone.
No video.
And say, here's grandma bequeathing me everything. You can't do that because, and again, the logic here, it may be perfectly legit, but people look in the tapes say, well, was she coerced? Was she in sound mind?
Is there somebody behind the camera with the gun pointing at grandma?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's too many variables that could make this not accurate.
And don't get a fill-in-the-blank will, folks, because New Mexico does not recognize handwritten wills.
So don't bust that out and write it down. So yeah, you get with an attorney. Matt Bristol can help you out here, but your attorney of choice, and you sit down and you do this. And this is even because I know there's a lot of the kits now, like with your taxes and with and quote unquote, simple legal documents. There's the internet has now, I would say any time of that kind of stuff, unless you're a lawyer yourself, why would you even think of, I mean, I don't know.
Some of that stuff's like handing a loaded gun to a kid.
Yeah.
They just have no idea how to handle it.
Like if you're trying to cut corners, maybe that's not there you want to cut corners.
No,
just,
not really.
Let's get the paperwork and did that, because at the end of the day, you may have saved $100, but if you didn't do it right, how much money did you save when you didn't get what you wanted at the end of the day?
Well, and then how many thousands of dollars to fix it?
Yeah.
Okay, so same scenario.
Gotcha.
Husband owns house pre-marriage. Marries. This time he adds wife to the deed because he's trying to think of, okay, I don't want to make the mistake the first guy made.
Mm-hmm.
I want to take care of my spouse, add her to the deed. They're married 20 years. And they file for divorce. Who gets the house?
Well,
interesting question.
I would imagine because it was accrued together.
He had it pre-marriage.
Oh, pre-marriage.
Then
but he put her name on it.
Put her name on it after the marriage.
That makes it part hers.
Why did he put her name on it? He's trying to avoid the problem the first guy had, right? So when they put the husband on the witness stand and go, Mr. Mike, why did you put your spouse's name on the deed? Mike says, well, I was trying to avoid the problem the other guy had.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was engaging in estate planning that if I died, my wife would get the house.
Sure.
I was trying to avoid the first guy's problem.
Right.
Oh, so Mr. Mike, you're engaging in estate planning? Yeah. But did you actually intend to give away half the house? Well, of course not. It was merely estate planning. And New Mexico has upheld that. And
that's a legitimate reason in New Mexico.
It is. And we're talking 20-year marriages.
Wow.
Oh, I put the name on 20 years ago for estate planning. There's no intent to actually give half away. And New Mexico Supreme Court has upheld that.
And that's a debate for another day.
Interesting, huh?
I could see maybe if it's only been a year or two, but 20 years.
Yep.
That's a long time. She's got stake in the game. You know what I mean? That's
at the time you made the gift, what was the intent?
Yeah.
So that's the interesting question.
But then again, that's part of that staying up on this kind of stuff too, because 20 years ago, they were never thinking of divorce and all that. Now that we're talking about that, maybe you need to relook at how you set it up and see if that's the right way before you go down the divorce route.
So the fix for all this probably is what's called a transfer on death deed. Husband executes a deed that says, when I die, then my second wife of 20 years gets the house.
Okay.
So if he dies while they're still married, the wife gets the house.
So actually will the house to him?
No, it's not a will. It's a transfer on death deed.
Gotcha.
Because transfer on death deeds avoid probate.
Okay.
Will does not avoid probate.
So she can save a little money and all that. Gotcha.
Save all that money.
Okay.
Also, he can revoke that transfer on death deed anytime he wants.
Okay.
So if they file for divorce, boom, he revokes it.
Gotcha.
And she won't get the house.
Perfect.
He gives it to the kids or whatever.
But again, if you don't know these kind of things and you don't set it up that
talk
way.
to the lawyer.
Yeah. This is why it always pays to have the conversation first. And that's why, and that's really what, when we talk about your practice and your office here. And before Matt will give you any kind of advice, he's going to sit and hear your whole story because his advice will change as the story unravels.
It's fact dependent. Yep.
If you walk in and say, "Do I know a will?" He's going to look at it and say, "Yeah, probably." But
let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. And then listen to the story and it'd be like, okay, yeah, you need a will because you need a will, but what you're trying to do, I wouldn't do it through a will. We're going to do it this way. So,
exactly.
Or
I've had people say, I made my will 10 years ago. Do I need a new one? I said, well, I don't know. Let me read the old one. And I say, okay, it says this, this, and this. Do you still want that to happen? They go, yeah. I said, you don't need a will.
Gotcha.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly. But this is what we're talking about. Don't assume anything. Don't read something that you read on the internet and preach it as gospel. It
exactly.
Is not, depends on where that came from. Each state is different. Just because we're in the United States doesn't mean the United States have the same laws each state when it comes to any of this stuff we're talking about. Marriage, divorce, property, wills, any of this stuff. Each state is different. And something that you're trying to pull off may work in Texas, but it does not work in New Mexico. And that's where your lawyer needs
to go.
That's why you need the lawyer. Because guess what? The lawyer is the person that's the expert in the state's law in which you're trying to do what you're doing.
Yeah, New Mexico is one of 8 community property states in the country. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of other states that have different property laws, marriage laws. And even Texas, even though it's community property, it's different laws than New Mexico when it comes to certain things.
Sure.
And so it's very, what we call fact dependent. It just depends on the facts of the case and where you're at.
With New Mexico and a lot of the differences that is it a mixed bag where sometimes some of the things we do here are better than other situations versus, or is it all like, it means a lot more pitfalls in other states?
Well, one thing I like, I can compare and contrast one issue with us in Texas, for example. So let's say Mike inherits oil and gas investments, properties, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So you've got this sole and separate property that's producing income.
Gotcha.
So once you're married, that money from the sole and separate sources remains sole and separate. In Texas, the income from your sole and separate properties is community property.
Ah, okay. What would you rather have? And I'm thinking, all right.
I like door number 1, please.
So, and I think most would. I mean, some would probably answer differently. So, but that's just, again, a difference.
A subtle difference. I had a case where lady passes away in New Mexico. Evil stepchildren live in Texas, so they hired a Texas attorney. And so was not a very nice person, even to me on the phone. And he would say, well, there was this valid holographic will that blah, 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 blah. And I just kept my mouth shut because New Mexico doesn't recognize holographic wills or handwritten wills.
Gotcha.
But they do in Texas. So here he was under this major misassumption that he was just going to threaten my life with. And I just kept my mouth shut and smiled. Just try that over here, buddy.
Just gave him the rope to hang himself.
Try that.
Half the battle sometimes just give the people the rope.
Can't wait for you to tell the judge that.
Absolutely. Good luck with that. Well, I just saw the time. We're running a little short here, but obviously, if you have questions about anything we're talking about here, please reach out to Matt's office.
Give us a call, 625-5284.
Absolutely.
And we're going to change our web page name.
Okay.
There's a couple of snafus, so we're working on that.
So more to come on that one. Call direct. Give them a number one more time.
625-5284.
Very good. And, of course, he's located here in the J.P. White building on the corner of 3rd and Main, downtown on the 4th floor here. So you can call, get an appointment, and he'll be happy to sit and talk with you about,
come see us.
And to be honest, if there's nothing to be done, he'll tell you, and you have your meeting and walk away and go about your day.
Yep.
But if there is something more that needs to be done, please, anything when it comes to your future planning, whether it's dealing with wills or dealing with your assets and what to do with them and how to protect them. Please come with your stuff to Matt and let him tell you whether what you're doing is right or what you're doing is going to get you in trouble.
Yep.
And let him walk that path and help you navigate through all.
An ounce of prevention, folks. An ounce of prevention.
You'll save a whole bunch of headache down the road.
Darn right.
You got time for fact or fiction here?
Oh, did I tell you my Kim Commando story?
I don't think so.
Well, Kim Commando's on this same station on Saturdays.
Here on Saturdays, right here on Roswell Talk FM.
That's it. And so I was listening to her one time, and I guess apparently she lives in Phoenix because she hikes Camelback Mountain.
Yeah, I knew she was in Arizona area. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she hikes it quite a bit. And so apparently about halfway up the hill, there's Bob. And Bob sits there with an ice chest. And apparently a lot of people hike Camelback who are not prepared, don't realize what they're doing.
So Bob is preparing people or helping people out that aren't prepared.
Yeah, it's his voluntary first aid station kind of thing. And so one time she's hiking up, and there's Bob, and she goes, "Hey, Bob, how's it going?" He just rolls his eyes. And there's this group of people sitting over there, and the woman has sandals. One of the guys has a flannel shirt.
I thought they were going to Club Med.
Totally unprepared for the hike, right?
Yeah.
And so Bob asks Kim, says, "Do you have any extra water? I ran out." And she goes, "Yeah, sure." So she walks over to the group, gives them an extra bottle of water. And they're very thankful. They're in Phoenix, right? So one of the guys says, "Well, hey, what are you doing later on tonight?" And she says, "I beg your pardon, I'm a married woman." And he says, No. So we're giving a concert, and we can leave a couple of tickets at the front door if you want. And she goes, "Well, I don't know. What kind of music do you play?" He says, "Well, we're the Talking Heads."
Oh, wow. Talking Heads, good musicians, not so good at wilderness survival.
So I thought that was a key story.
Did she go to the concert? I hope she went to the concert.
I hope so.
Price of admission was a bottle of water. It's pretty good for a Talking Heads concert.
So I think that's a key story.
It is very good. Again, give out your phone number one more time.
Call Matt Bristol, 625-5284.
Good deal. And bristoloffice.com, but it's under renovation construction right now.
Yeah,
and
we changed it to something, but it'll be similar.
Very good.
Be patient.
But just call him or come by, and he'll be happy to get you an appointment and talk to you.
Thank you so much, Mike. Enjoy it.
Thank you as well. We'll let you get to it. I'm sure you got a stack of things waiting for you upstairs here. So, and his coffee looks low, so we better get a reboot. Thanks, Matt. We'll see you next time.
Thanks again, Mike.
All right, it is 7:56. Wall Street update. Quick break before news. Don't go away.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bernie Bennett. The embattled crypto exchange FTX is filing for bankruptcy. Correspondent Jennifer King reports.
FTX, the world's third largest crypto exchange, filed a petition for bankruptcy protection in Delaware for itself, Alameda Research, and dozens of affiliated companies. FTX experienced the crypto equivalent of a bank run. Founder and CEO Sam Bankman-Fried, recently estimated to be worth $23 billion, resigned, and his net worth has all but evaporated.
The Biden administration's recent move to block exports of advanced computer chips to China signaled a new phase in relations between the globe's two largest economies. The export ban helped set the tone for President Joe Biden's upcoming meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the Group of 20 summit in Asia. Twitter's relaunched premium service, which grants blue-chip verification labels to anyone willing to pay $8 a month, is unavailable after the social media platform was flooded by a wave of imposter accounts approved by Twitter. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bernie Bennett.
This is the owner of Trustmark Roofing, and nothing makes us happier than telling our customers no. As in, no pricing games. We give you a guaranteed price, and then we stand by it. No surprises, no gotchas. No obscurity. We don't just tell you what's wrong with your roof. We record our inspections and show you. No lemons. We install premium roofing materials from top brands like Owens Corning. No shortcuts. We're in the 2% of roofers with the Owens Corning Preferred Contractor Certificate for our local area. This means we offer precision installation and the longest warranties. Want a beautiful new roof that's built to last? Choose Trustmark Roofing, the roofer that loves to tell our customers no. For an estimate, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
It's that time of year again. The 41st Annual Holiday Magic Art and Craft Show. Friday and Saturday, November 18th and 19th at the Eastern New Mexico State Fairgrounds. Featuring a variety of handmade creations by artists, artisans, and crafters from New Mexico and Texas. Mixing returning favorites with many new exhibitors. This year's featured artists are Becky and Galen Bach from Midland, Texas, displaying their truly amazing creations in women's apparel. Plus, delectable treats, including the ever-popular pumpkin rolls and cookies by Deborah Lucas. Delightful mini donuts by Karen Hendricks, and delicious meals by Eli's Bistro. Enter to win great prizes, including an American flag, a cornhole game, a framed signed Gordon Snideout print, a beautiful cowl neck sweater, and even a $100 gift certificate to Pepper's Grill and Bar. Proceeds to benefit the Assurance Home, the First Tee of Southeastern New Mexico, Royal Family Kids Camp, 4-H program, and Roswell's local high schools. Admission is only $2. Kids 12 and under are free. The 41st Annual Holiday Magic Art and Craft Show, Friday and Saturday, November 18th and 19th at the Eastern New Mexico State Fairgrounds.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The ball on top of a flagpole is called a truck. Mess with your friends today by pointing at a flagpole and say, "Hey, check out the truck on top of that flagpole." Here's Mike Winters.
And we're closing in on 8 o'clock. Town Hall News up next. We'll be back on the other side. Don't go away.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Underscoring his support of the U.S. one-China policy, President Biden says he does not see an imminent attempt by Communist China to take over Taiwan. Mr. Biden speaking following a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. He says they covered a lot of ground.
We discussed Russia's aggression against Ukraine, reaffirmed our shared belief in the threat or the use of nuclear weapons is totally unacceptable, and I asked that Secretary Blinken travel to China to follow up on our discussions and continue keeping the lines of communication open between our two countries.
Ukraine's leader has paid a triumphant visit to the newly liberated town of Kherson in southern Ukraine.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky posed with soldiers in the city's central square. Zelensky is known to appear in frontline zones at crucial junctures in the war to support troops and congratulate them for battlefield exploits. Video footage showed Zelensky waving to residents who waved at him from an apartment window and yelled "Glory to Ukraine." The reply from Zelensky and his entourage was "Glory to the heroes." The liberation of Kherson is one of Ukraine's biggest successes in the war so far and comes after a grinding offensive that forced the Russians to withdraw from the key city. I'm Karen Chamas.
It may be a slim majority, but it appears that Republicans will take control of the House. Several races still undecided. The Senate, meanwhile, remains in the hands of the Democrats. There's a manhunt going on in Charlottesville, Virginia. It follows last night's deadly shooting at the University of Virginia, an on-campus attack. 3 people were killed, 2 others injured. Police have identified a suspect, a 22-year-old man, and they are hunting for him now. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 1 point, the Nasdaq off 127 points, the S&P is down 17. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Charlie Dombeck here from Key City Capital. As a practicing CPA for nearly 30 years, I have found that 80% of your ability to grow your wealth is dependent upon 2 factors: taxes and investment performance. At Key City Capital, we improve investment performance by diversifying capital into off-market investment opportunities in passive rental real estate and alternatives like asset-backed lending. We recover dollars that clients unnecessarily pay in the form of income taxes, creating a lifetime annuity of savings. We are a sponsor of passive, affordable single and multifamily residential rental investments, which are located in Sunbelt landlord-friendly states. These investments are the top choices in a rising interest rate and inflationary environment. They represent a store of value, protecting your capital from market volatility. Learn how we at Key City Capital can help you ultimately grow your wealth rapidly. Connect with me at keycitycapital.com or give me a call at 817-912-1569.
Turkish police have detained a suspect believed to have planted the bomb that exploded on a busy pedestrian avenue in Istanbul.
In the early hours of this morning, it was announced that police had detained the person who allegedly left the bomb. Last night, Turkey's Justice Minister said the focus was on a woman who spent 40 minutes sitting on a bench here on Istiklal Street. CCTV showed her leaving shortly before a bag left under the seat exploded, sending hundreds of shoppers running for their lives. 21 other people were detained in the hours after the explosion. It's the first major attack in Istanbul in 5 years.
That's the BBC's Anna Foster. Israeli forces shot and killed a 19-year-old Palestinian woman during a West Bank raid. The Israeli military says soldiers opened fire on a vehicle that was accelerating toward them after they signaled for that vehicle to stop. News and analysis, townhall.com. Minnesota earns a wild win over Buffalo in the NFL.
It was one of the craziest games of the year. In overtime, 33-30 was the final, the Vikings outlasting the Bills. It appeared that Buffalo had won the game in regulation, stopping the Vikings on 4th and goal, only to have Bills quarterback Josh Allen fumble the snap, giving the Vikings the lead. So many plays in this game, including an acrobatic catch by Justin Jefferson to keep the game alive.
Him catching the ball in his hands and me taking it from him. The whole play was crazy.
Jefferson with 10 catches for 193 yards and a score. The Vikings move to 8-1. The Bills fall to 6-3. Gene Battaglia, Orchard Park, New York.
Number 1 Georgia leads an unchanged top 5 in the AP college football poll. The rest of the top 25 has been shuffled around after 8 ranked teams lost. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
Los Deuce.
Mornings with Mike Winters. Right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday.
Yes.
It's a busy weekend, though. With a lot going on. It was a good weekend.
There's a song on country radio. The hook is, I got to go back to work to get a little rest.
Right.
And I feel like that's kind of where we're at. It's like come back to the regular work week, just so we can kind of fall back into the norm of things and get a little rest.
Yeah, after the weekend with
busy
all
weekend.
the stuff going on. But it's the holiday season now. Everyone's going to be turning their attention to Thanksgiving. And so it's going to be crazy for the next couple months here for everybody. So.
I have a few more. I have the rest of this week and then till Thursday of next week.
Okay.
And then I enter the dangerous season known as Whamageddon.
Whamageddon, yes. That's right. Sean has a thing.
Yeah.
That he does every holiday season after Thanksgiving.
For the last few, I've participated in a group online that's called Whamageddon. Basically, it's supposed to be starting on December 1st, but I'm going to start, I think it unofficially starts the day after Thanksgiving.
Have you made it through a whole season yet?
Yeah. I made it all of last year.
Okay.
Matter of fact, no, I made it till like 2 days before, and then Allie, Missy's daughter Allie, like snuck up on me and played it, and so she ruined it for me.
She did you dirty.
Yeah, and I'm sure that I'm gonna have the same experience this year, but it technically starts December 1st. I can't hear the song "Last Christmas" by Wham.
Yes, you know the song. You all know it. Sing it together.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart. Now, the kicker of this is I can hear other people's renditions of it. I just can't hear the Wham version, the original Wham Last Christmas. Because like Taylor Swift has a version
I was about to
of
say,
it.
how many people have done a version of that
So
song? I did not
many
know that it was redone a bunch of times.
If you're a pop artist and you don't have a Christmas album somewhere in your 10 album repertoire, you're not doing it right.
Well, I get a Christmas album, but is it that song they're all redoing?
That one and several others.
Okay.
You know, you got your Sleigh Bells Ring. Are you listening? You know, you got your.
I wonder if Wham wrote that or George Michael.
I think that is a Wham's original. Let me
Like,
Google
did
that.
George write that one, or did like Prince do it or something?
I'm not sure.
So who get paid here?
My phone is ringing right now, so I can't look it up yet. But I will here in a second.
Okay, very good. So Sean goes through the entire Christmas season, through December, I guess you could say, trying to avoid the Wham Last Christmas song.
Now I made the joke that Wham's Last Christmas isn't as big of a deal here in the States as it is across the pond.
Well, George Michael is British. They do like their British artists.
So
British songs.
I said we should step it up this year, and do Mariah-geddon, which is you can't hear All I Want for Christmas Is You. And that's a lot harder because in America, that song is everywhere.
I would even have said, I would have thrown in, if like 8 to 10 years ago, Kenny Rogers. What's that Christmas song he does? Mary, Did You Know?
Oh, yeah.
That thing was like all the time playing. But I think it's kind of fallen in the repertoire a little bit.
Last Christmas was produced by George Michael.
Oh, good.
Turns out.
Well, so good. His family is making big on that one then. I'm glad to hear that.
Song by the pop duo Wham was written and produced by George Michael and has been covered by many artists since.
Whatever happened to the other guy?
What is the other guy?
I don't know.
Who is the other guy?
But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There was Wham, and it was George Michael.
There was Wham.
And then the other guy. What happened to the other guy?
What's the other guy's name? Andrew Ridgeley.
Where's he at? I'm just curious. What's he up to?
Wikipedia's on this
hanging out with Dinkelman or whatever it is on
skis in his jeans.
Hanging out with Dinkelman from American Idol.
Oh, Dunkelman.
Dunkelman.
I'm sorry. I was thinking of Dinkelman from the movie Just Friends.
Sorry, Dunkelman. Not died. He got his name wrong. The guy who was also hosting with Seacrest season 1 of American Idol. We don't know where he's at either.
He says he's still active 2018 to present.
Like, is he doing Wham at like county fairs in England?
But let's see. I'm sure he's not doing Wham.
Like at county fairs in England somewhere.
All right, post Wham. Let's see, 86 post Wham, 1990.
Do they have casinos in England? Is he doing the casino?
He's doing the pub circuit. Since 1982, Ridgeley has amassed 10 million pounds from sales and royalties of records. Much of his income comes from his 84 single Careless Whisper. So he's basically just riding on fumes at this point.
Okay.
He'll go out and,
I didn't know if he got like a little piece of like some of this Wham catalog music or is it all written by George and it all went to George? I don't know.
Hard to say.
So, bummer.
But, yeah. So
he's like, Last Christmas, I just want the rights to one of these songs.
I'd like me a gig. At the very least, maybe a meal.
Like, is there a guy? Like, in my head now, I just see him at like county fairs that with some dude that's kind of looking like George Michael.
Right.
Like they put that 5 o'clock shadowy beard on him all the time.
He's a George Michael cover artist. Well, you got to figure out somewhere out there's a Wham tribute band, and nobody wants to be the Andrew Ridgeley of the Wham tribute band. Just a bunch of George Michaels strutting out on stage. Why do I always mix up Boy George and George Michael? Like every single time. I know, but every single time I'm like Boy George. No,
British.
George Michael.
They're both British.
Yeah, they are. Both just British Georges.
George Michael had the much bigger career of the two.
He did, and the much tighter genes of the two.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if Culture Club money is all going to Boy George, or is it like who wrote the Culture Club songs? Was it all Boy George,
I'm
or was it
assume
Culture Club?
Do you realize that's the second Culture Club reference this morning?
I know.
That's not uncommon.
Your mom is to blame for the first one.
Yeah,
with her dad jokes.
Where do you think I get my super high wit from?
But pound for pound, Sean's mom has the best dad jokes on Facebook. Like I see other dad jokes and they just don't get me. But then she hits me with one and it's just like, son of a
she had one last week that was so bad I had to call her out on it. It was what was it? Sister drops hammer on your foot. Ow, sis, you broke. And then it showed a picture of cells splitting.
Uh-huh.
Mitosis. You broke my toe, sis. I'm like, Mom.
Wow. Science nerds were laughing their full head off on that one.
That was bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But she people like her make the dad joke art. And that's what I love about it.
I would agree.
All right, let me give you the rundown for this hour of the show. We'll get you up to date with the weather here in just a few minutes. And then joining us from the Chaves County Extension Office, Tamara Schubert and Arlene Rowland will join us here, give us an update on what they've got going on, talk about some of the things they've got coming up. And then later on, we'll get you up to date with the news of the local variety, along with your Town Hall Wall Street business update and whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show.
Blew out my nostril on that snort laugh. I'm gonna go rest these.
All right, you
we'll hit it again next round.
Rest the sinuses. All right, it is 8 closing in on 8:15. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have cold front on its way through our area. We'll hit about 50 for the afternoon high today, but the wind will be gusty, up to 35 miles per hour, and we should get sunshine through the day. Clear for the overnight hours and getting pretty cold, down to the mid-20s on our low, and then a cool Tuesday coming up with a mix of sunshine and clouds. Our high in the upper 40s, low 40s, and fair Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thanks, Steve. Steve said the cold front's coming in. I'm not an idiot, but I think it's here already. Just feel like if this is not here yet, I don't want it to be here yet. Currently 39 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 67%. Winds are blowing out of the north 16 miles per hour at the moment. They say we're supposed to get to 50 today. I don't feel it right now, but that's what they say. Sunny, high near 50. Good news is it's going to be windier this morning than this afternoon, but it's going to be breezy all day. Breezy, north winds 20 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour this morning. They're going to decrease down 15 to 20, if you call that a decrease, this afternoon. Mostly clear tonight with an overnight low of 25. Winds will be out of the north 5 to 10. So that's tonight. 5 to 10 sounds good tonight. So when you try to take your trash cans out, if you're doing it, won't blow down the street. So, well, they're full. It'll be tomorrow. You got that problem. For you Tuesday, cooler tomorrow. Like you're going to enjoy 50. Tomorrow's 40, but at least there's less wind. So maybe it won't be so bad. But partly cloudy, 46 for a high tomorrow. Winds out of the northeast at around 5 miles per hour. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night. Overnight low of 30. East winds at around 5. Wednesday, more of the same, mostly sunny, 46 for a high, east winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunny Thursday, back into the mid-50s, but Friday, we're back down into the 40s again. Mostly sunny, 47 on Friday. And then the weekend, just like the week, 44 and sunny on Saturday, sunny with a high of 53 on Sunday. So, welcome to winter-like temperatures here in New Mexico all week, even though it's not officially winter, but they're giving us a preview. Oh, as long as we get some moisture, that's, I don't know about snow, but rain is what if I'm putting in an order, that's what I'm putting in the order for. So, all right, it is 17 minutes after 8 o'clock. We're going to take a 3-minute commercial break, and then we're going to talk with the folks from the Chaves County Extension Office on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Hi, I'm Dr. Keon at Carabelli Dental. Same-day smiles are what we do. My passion is helping patients chew, talk, and live with confidence. That's why I'm one of the few doctors in the U.S. who can create beautiful same-day smiles with the latest digital implant technology. This procedure is life-changing. Just ask Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean. I've been that voice that you've heard on the radio for most of my life, but I'm also a dad to 2 amazing kids. I've had a million reasons to smile, but in all my old pictures, I was never smiling. Truth is that life of improper care and being dealt a bad hand genetically left me practically with no teeth. It affected everything from the way I ate, the way I talked, and of course how I interacted with people. And that's where Dr. Keon and Carabelli stepped in. They eased my fears. They explained every step of the process in a way that I could understand, and they made me feel almost like I was part of the team. And now, I can't stop smiling. I have so much more confidence, and I love looking in the mirror now. I can't explain how much of a difference Dr. Keon's dental implant process made for me.
Our team can help you find your smile too. Come see us at Carabelli Dental, 575-622-4455.
Martine's Capital Cafe in Roswell offers authentic and highly rated New Mexico food. Explore their amazing menu featuring huevos rancheros or asado with eggs or their green chili stew. And you can't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger, all made from scratch using their finest and freshest ingredients. Open for carryout with curbside delivery or limited dine-in. Just call ahead 624-2111. Martine's Capital Cafe, always pleasing the most refined palate. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at 110 West 4th in Roswell.
Buying a sewing machine from a big box store or online might seem like a bargain, but in this case, you really do get what you pay for. Just the machine. No lessons, no help with figuring out why it isn't working the way you expect, and no one close to fix it. Buying locally from an authorized retailer may cost a little more, but in the end, it will save you time, money, and aggravation. Come see me, Chris Ann, at So Easy Sewing, 200 East College Boulevard in Roswell, and let me show you why it pays to shop local. So Easy Sewing. You've never had it so easy.
Fall is here, but it's not too late to get to Graves Farm and Garden and stock up on green chili in mild, medium, or hot, as well as dried red chili, perfect for Thanksgiving and seasonal recipes. Plus, firewood by the cord, delivered and stacked. Now's the time to stock up on hay bales with Sudan and alfalfa in both small and large bales. And the Graves Farm store is open Monday through Saturday, 8:30 to 5:30, and Sundays 1 to 5. 7.5 miles south of Roswell on the Old Dexter Highway. Graves Farm and Garden, where locally owned means locally grown.
Chimera Independent Physicians offers world-class health care right here in Roswell. With their state-of-the-art facility, your family can receive expert care from many specialty doctors and experts covering oncology, hematology, neurology, rheumatology, endocrinology, primary care, and internal medicine. Lab services, radiology, and infusion center, all without leaving our community. Chimera Independent Physicians, located at 400 Military Heights Place, near the corner of Country Club and Military Heights in Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Slugs have 4 noses, but no fingers to pick them. Here's Mike Winters.
That's life. That's God just messing with people right there. Good morning. It is 20 minutes after 8 o'clock. And joining us in studio from the Chavez County Extension Office, Tamara Schubert, and also Arlene Rowland as well. She's one of the Extension Club groups there. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
How's everybody doing today?
It is cold.
It is cold.
Yeah.
But at least it makes it feel like holidays when you do the holiday magic, or not holiday magic, the kitchen creation, the Holiday Creations, I'm going to get all the names
Showcase.
in there.
Christmas Showcase.
But yeah, so tomorrow is the big event. If you've never heard of this before, how many years now has the Extension Office been doing this Holiday Creations?
10 to 15.
So each year they have like a workshop showcase. And they do 2 sessions, one during the afternoon after lunch and then one after work. And hopefully you've pre-registered. Is there any slots available? Or
They can still purchase tickets today and tomorrow morning at the office, or they can purchase them at the door.
And so So you still got time to get in for either the afternoon or the evening sessions tomorrow. But what it is you go and they have like round robin booths that you go and learn or is it more just pick up the different?
No, they have different presenters.
Yeah.
They do have different presenters, but they present to the whole audience.
Yeah, and so the booths come to you. You don't go to the booths.
Right.
So they have the different presentations, and it's all holiday ideas and things. Could be food, could be like decor, could be gifts.
Yes.
It runs the gamut, all things holiday. And the cool part is when you're done, you get a book that's got all of the recipes, all of the instructions, all of the things that y'all were shown and talked about. You got the Bible that teaches you how to do all of that. Each year is completely different.
It is.
And each book is different. So over the years, the books themselves have become collector's items. So so if you're trying to track down old ones, there might be people there at the event that can maybe help you track
we do
down
still
some
have
of those?
past years. Some of them are still in the office.
Okay.
So if they're looking, if they missed a year and they just really want it, come talk to us.
Gotcha. So
I still use many of the recipes from back years.
Yeah, I would
granola
imagine.
is one of them.
Well, and it's all timeless stuff, you know, and it's like so. And I imagine many a family tradition or family
recipe
or family thing has come out of these books each year. So if you've never been to one, then make tomorrow your first one, and then start your collection and get on each year. But if you've been, then here's your 2-minute warning. So tomorrow's the date. Make sure you come on out. Now, give the pertinent details, the times, and how to sign up and all that good stuff.
Right. So there's 2 sessions, one at 1:30 and one at 6:30. So those that don't drive at night, they can come join us during the day. It will be out at the new Hobson's Hall building, which is the pavilion out at Eastern Fairgrounds.
Yeah, the new building has a name now, Hobson's Hall.
Does.
So we can stop calling it new building. So now they can build a new building, and we'll call that new building.
Yes, please. Yep.
I'd go for that.
So they can pre-purchase tickets, like I said, at the extension office today and tomorrow morning, or they can purchase them at the door. If they pre-purchase them, they get to skip the line, which it's cold. You can go right in.
Well, and that way you guarantee you got a spot. You're good to go, and you don't have to worry about anything. So go ahead and get your advance tickets. But like you said, if your schedule's like, I don't know, my Tuesday's a little busy. I want to go, but I'm not guaranteed I can sneak in. Then get your tickets at the door if you can make it there at after lunch or at 6:30 later that evening, either one. So depending on your work schedule or life schedule there, whatever works out best for you. But great thing is, it'll be out there this year there in the fairgrounds there in the Hobson Hall. So you can plenty parking, plenty room, plenty spaces, plenty of things to see and do, and all that stuff while you're there. So I'm kind of curious, how do you guys come up with the list that goes in the book? What is it a group of people that kind of decide? How does that process happen?
So Christmas Showcase is presented and offered through our extension clubs here in Chaves County, which is a group of community members. We have 5 clubs right now in Chaves County. Through those 5 clubs, we have 10 members that sit on a Christmas Showcase committee.
Okay.
And it's broken down into quick and easy sewing gifts, treasured gifts, decor ideas, and foods.
Okay.
And so we have a couple that sit in each category, and as a group, they come up with everything that's going in it.
Gotcha. Well, I imagine it gets, now because you've been doing this for quite a few years now, the trick is to make sure you haven't done one already. Like you're saying, wait a minute, didn't we do those cookies back in 97 or something like that, you know what I mean, or in 02 or whatever it was, you know. And so I mean, there's so many things, but I imagine there's sometimes you're like, oh, wait a minute, we got better double check, go back and see we didn't accidentally already do that one.
Well, we have some that are favorite things too that have come up that, well, can you do that again?
Back by popular demand. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because there's some and you're like, and especially if people, I lost the book, I don't have it anymore. Right. I've lost that recipe for these cookies or for that project. And that's the thing of these projects are, especially like your arts and crafts, it's not all, a lot of it's family stuff too. So if you're looking for things to do with your kids during the Christmas holiday, creating or doing these kind of things, these all incorporate that too. So if you're looking to impress your friends and relatives with stuff, they've got you covered. But if you're trying to get the family involved and say, hey, these are family projects we want to do during the Christmas season here, they've got it all for you. So if you're looking for family ideas, if you're looking for food and traditions to start here, the Christmas Showcase is made for you. This is what it's made for. And bring your family out, too. Yeah, so bring your family with you.
Well, I don't want to give anything for this year away, but last year one of the things they did was make a Christmas tree using just yarn. And wrapped and in and out to make different designs. Sure. But very definitely something the kids could help with and come up and do.
So I'm curious, are everybody on the committee, are they all crafters and cooks and things? Are they all do these things at home, I'm guessing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But you don't have to be terribly crafty to do it, because many of the things that they present are going to be ones that are easily directions easily followed.
But I imagine just coming up with the ideas.
But the ladies are pretty talented.
Because I mean, and I imagine a lot of it's probably traditions your own families have had over the years, and say, I'd like to. It's something we did. Right. I think others would like this too.
Right.
You know.
Right. Especially our cooks. They have some great background family recipes, and they've done some over the years that have been big hits.
Yeah, I would imagine too. Although I'm one of those people like, I just want the one that makes it so I can eat it. You know.
Well, you do get door prizes when you come, and some of that is the food that they
so you get to
talk
try
about.
and sample, come peckish, because you get to try a little few things and all that. I mean, and get to that's the beauty of it. Is you get to experience Christmas in November, and then take this home and make this Christmas magic in your own homes and things.
Yeah, we set up a table that has some of the samples of the things that are presented, and everybody gets to go through the line.
Okay.
And sample all
now,
of it.
There is a small cost. It's what? How much is it again?
$5.
$5 here, but you get the book.
You get the book.
So you're basically paying $5 for the book. I mean, the $5 covers the whole event and everything, yes. but for $5 you get the book, and the book is highly coveted, I'm telling you. That get you where you keep like everyone has that file cabinet with important papers. Usually keep like deeds and birth certificates and stuff. Make a folder and put these books in there with it. That way you've got them there and all that kind of stuff. That way when Christmas rolls out next year and you're looking for ideas, and first go to next year's. But then if you're like, go back and pick through the older books, and find some stuff there too.
Well, and everyone has a new theme. So all of the craft ideas and food nutrition ideas kind of revolve around that theme. So they're different. They're different every year.
So do some of the foods cover because I know with your side of things and healthy eating and all that, and your kitchen creations and that side, do some of the recipes sometimes fall into the good boy or girl list, or are they all?
So we try to pick a variety.
Well, it is the holidays, and you want to enjoy a little and have a little bit of things that normally you don't eat all the time, but that is the season. But I know some people are like, it's Thanksgiving and Christmas are just days of just falling off wagons on diets here, but maybe there's ways you can, or even I would imagine take some of these recipes that you do and you're like, okay, I'm trying to make it a little, and then swap out ingredients for a more diabetic or a healthier option for folks like that.
Well, like last year we had a charcuterie board.
Okay.
And so it had cheeses, crackers, how to arrange nicely the grapes and strawberries, things that
all the
that
healthy
are
stuff.
healthy eating. Yeah.
I saw a joke online the other day. It said the charcuterie is French for sandwich without bread. I don't have any bread. That's what it was. It was French for I don't have any bread.
You're pretty good. That's great.
But I know way I love meats and cheeses, so it's all good to me. But yeah, that's so. But please come and especially if you're a new family and you're looking to create your own traditions and things. This is your first Christmas together with the married couple or with the children or something like that, and you want to do create your own traditions and set your own unique things here. Come out tomorrow and get some ideas. That's the great part about it is you get to learn and incorporate. Because I think all of us have some kind of tradition. If you're an adult, you did as a kid some kind of Christmas or something, and you kind of wanted to bring that. Now that I'm an adult, I want to do this with my children, and so you get that. But then you can take some of this and add to it here, and just add to the the food and all that, or just whatever it is. That's what I love about it, and that's why it's popular. So please, if you get your tickets in advance, only $5. Give out the way to get the advance tickets again.
So they can pick them up at the office at this point at 200 East Chisholm. We're in suite number 4. We're the far side of the health department that's out there.
If you want to call ahead and say, hey, you guys open, I want to get some tickets, and you can say, hey, I'm going to come by and get 2, and then come by and get 2, or whatever it is you're going to get. Or 5, or 50, or whatever it is that you need here. But and then come on out to the new Hobson Hall, which is there on the Eastern New Mexico State Fairgrounds. Come on out tomorrow, 1:30 and 6:30 tomorrow. Get there a few minutes early. Plenty of parking.
Yes.
Are they having people go through the main entrance or the vendor entrance, or does
So they'll go through that very far entrance, the red gate, and
Okay.
they'll come down on that end, and then they can park anywhere.
Good
in
deal.
there.
Just follow the group of cars. They'll take you right in there, and then you get. And trust me, you're gonna bring the whole family. You're gonna love it. And fellas, you're gonna like it too. I know a lot of you. Oh, don't drive me. I'm gonna sit here. But then you start eating some of the food and start. All right, that's kind of cool. All right, I kind of like. Hey, can you do? The next thing you know what? Now I'm thinking about it. If you're just trying to do your own Christmas, maybe leave the spouse at home to say that way, because they're going to be like, can you do this, this, this? I've already got this, So if you got a set plan, maybe, but if not, if you're looking for, please bring the whole family, bring the kids, and maybe you can whet the kids' appetites on some of the projects and say, oh, you want to do that? Well, we will, if you're good. Tis that season.
You gotta be on the list.
Tis the season, right? You can use this, parents. Use this to your advantage. All of us did growing up. We were all under that same. You better be good this next month. So, very good. But talk a little bit about some of the other stuff you guys are doing right now too, because I do want to get all the things that you guys do on people's radar here.
Right.
If you're looking, with the diabetic, the kitchen creations, and that's where Tamara's. That's her side of things. Drew can help you out when it comes to weevils and gardening, and of course Andrew can help out with all the FFA, all of the 4-H stuff here. And
So
all
we
of
do.
That stuff.
We have a lot going on. So 4-H enrollment is open right now for our new year. So we encourage all of those kids, 5 to 18-year-olds, to get signed up. There's 230 something projects that they can do through us.
That's all?
We do.
Only 230.
We do encourage them to get signed up early so that they can dive into those things. Some of our family consumer sciences projects start in January with our quilting and our sewing. Those classes start in January.
Now's the time to get on those lists and get signed up.
And I know, if they're interested in shooting sports right now, we're having safety trainings and stuff for them to start their practices as well. So now's the time to get signed up if they're interested in doing some of those projects.
Yeah, we've had a chance to interview some of those kids and everything that have been a part of the shooting sports, and great group. They have a lot of fun and pretty good too. But they're kind of a cohesive little clique almost, and that's kind of, so if you're looking for that kind of camaraderie and stuff, 4-H and has all of their 238 different ones,
something like that. Mm-hmm.
They all have that unique feel and kind of that groups and meeting friends and all that. So if you're looking for social as much as you are looking for
Definitely.
the skills
Come join us.
of these different different groups here, that's the part of it here. If you're looking to make new friends and meet new people and do all that 4-H is as much of that as it is, getting these kids prepared to be adults in whatever path they choose.
Well, and we have that option for adults too through our extension clubs.
That's
so
true.
if they're interested in being part of the community and doing things, join one of our extension clubs. They do community service projects. They do craft projects at their meetings.
Come for the Christmas showcase. Stay for the camaraderie and meet new people and all that kind of stuff tomorrow. Yeah.
They offer scholarships in the spring for our kids as well. So our extension clubs are doing a lot. On Drew's end, typically we would have library this weekend. So gardening at the library, that one's going to be rescheduled.
Okay, for
so
December,
we're going to skip November
Okay.
and we'll pick back up December the 17th at the library.
That's all right. Everyone's going to be thinking about turkey on the brain this month anyway. So
the other things that we've got going on is Wednesday this week. They can join us at the library for the 4-H day at the library.
yes, what time are you guys taking over the library here?
So we will be out there at 3
p.m. right after school here.
We're doing nature art and corn husk dolls.
Okay.
So if they want to come join us, materials are free.
Great.
And it's free for anybody
So
5 to 18.
Fall decor for your Thanksgiving there.
Absolutely.
The kids can get involved with and all that. And again, that's this Wednesday, 3 p.m. at the Roswell Public Library. First come, first serve, completely free. Come on down and bring the family and bring the kids down and after school here and do these projects. And while you're there at the library for 4-H Day, grab their calendar at the front desk. And then you can learn about all the other different things they've got going. Because just about every weekend they've got things going on for adults, kids, and kids that want to be adults that aren't adults yet. So,
or adults that want to be kids.
Yeah, exactly. Or vice versa. They keep growing on us. Very good. And of course, if you have any questions about anything related to 4-H, anything related to ag stuff, if if you need to know about getting your bug spray certifications, all that kind of stuff, or if you're worried about your pecans, if they've got weevils in them or any of that kind of stuff, Drew can take care of you on that side. Call the extension office.
Absolutely.
He'll help you out there. And then, of course, any questions 4-H related, getting your kids involved, or maybe you want to be a volunteer and help out. They're always, there's so many clubs and different things. We can make 300 clubs if we've got, the interest in the things that are going on here. So if you have an interest there, reach out too.
Well, and we're always looking for volunteers that have those unique skill sets.
Mm-hmm.
We utilize several volunteers through our shooting sports program, but we also have ones that come in and teach woodworking for the kids and cake decorating. So if in braiding, Arlene is our braiding leader, but we've got welding volunteers that come in and teach the kids. So if they've got skills, reach out to us.
Absolutely.
Let us know. We'd love to use those.
Yeah. And all these translate to, if they want to pursue careers in these things, now they've got the base foundation to pursue that any way they want. You're talking small engine repair there. You know how valuable a skill that is to have these day and age,
Amen.
Even if you're not going to grow up to be a mechanic, how great would it be handy that you don't have to pay somebody $500 to look at your lawnmower or $600? Got to buy a new weed whacker every time I go out because I keep breaking this thing. Or dirt bike riding or any of those. All that small engine repair. So that's a good skill set. And I don't know if they're as modern. You got to have an engineering degree to work on a car nowadays because of all the computers. Small engines still the nuts and bolts of of the way mechanics used to be, where everything was mechanical, and that doesn't work. There's a valve to fix, or there's a wiring
belt
harness
or a pulley
to
or
replace.
something that's
not a computer to swap out.
One of the other projects is electricity, learning how to make a simple battery and how it works, etc. Yeah, there's
how not
a
to
lot. It goes to computer programming. Even.
Sure. Yeah,
so there's things that you don't normally think of.
Yeah, it's
with
not all
4-H
about animals and farm and ranch and,
Right.
and that kind of stuff. It's high tech. It's life. If people are doing it in life, then 4-H is doing it in 4-H. That's kind of how it goes there. So
there's some good STEM curriculum out of university too. We have a large contingent of homeschool kids in
Excellent.
Chaves County, and that has some good resources there.
Sure, and of course, because of Robert's rules and the way that the meetings are
They
handled,
learn how to do that, too.
parliamentary procedure and all that. That
Right.
is that's all kind of side effects of being a part of 4-H and learning that kind of stuff too. So even if your goals are to be a statesman or a politician or something like that, 4-H might give you the foundation to set you up for the next level here.
Well, and if we have any ladies that are out there that are looking to expand their crafting skills and or cooking skills, just to one of the problems of being an adult and maybe not in the workplace right now is you don't have a good avenue for making long-lasting relationships with other people, and our extension clubs are a group of ladies that some common interests, some
different
backgrounds, etc. That we come together, learn all kinds of the skills that Tamara's been talking about: the sewing, the crafting, the gardening. I learned that you can get a stainless steel shaped bar that you can rub your hands on, and it takes all the onion smell and fish smell out of your hands. How do you like that? Yeah.
Some people could use that. You just leave those around fishmonger places and stuff and see how that works out. But yeah, you're right. That's the beauty of 4-H. It's as much the social and the life side as it is you learning a particular skill or things like that. It's that learning, and this is what's great for adults and children. For children, it's getting them. Let's face it, we live in a world now, and I know I'm getting soapboxy here, but we live in a world now where everyone's on a phone or on a tablet. You know what I mean? And everybody communicates in 3 sentences in a text or on something like that. And let's face it, our our younger generations are lacking some of that people skills and talking and things that we just learn by living because life is different now. It's some of those things. So to kind of, because let's face it, we're not going to stop anybody. I mean, we're all even on phones and everything. We're all going to do that. That's the way of the future. But to help mitigate and to get them people skills, how to talk to people, how to interact, how to problem solve, how to do the things that they don't teach you in school per se, as a formal class. This is where 4-H and organizations like it shine, because this is they get to talk, they get to interact, they get to share their feelings, they get to solve problems together, they get to introduce problems, they get to hang out and do social things. All of that makes the kids and adults better, well-rounded people, and that's what it's about. Did we get it?
Yes, sir.
You hit the nail right on the head. How's that for?
So come on out tomorrow.
Yes.
Tomorrow is the big Christmas showcase. This is it for 2022. If you miss out tomorrow, then you have to wait till next November. So it is tomorrow, 1:30 and 6:30 p.m. They're both exactly the same, so you can go to either one. You can go to both if you want, but if you're like, man, the one at 6:30 is a lot like the one at 1:30, because it is. And that way you can get your $5. You can pre-register by calling and coming by the extension office this morning today. If you space out, just show at the door at 1:30 tomorrow or 6:30, and we'll get you in if room's available. Just saying, if there's a packed full of people, you might have to wait a few minutes, but to guarantee, just go and get your tickets today. But and then be there at 1:30. You're going to get to hear all of the presentations, and of course get the coveted craft book that's got all the recipes, all the directions, all the instructions for all the stuff you learn there. And then, of course, if you're trying to hunt down older books, reach out to the extension staff there, and maybe they can dig through their archives and see what they've got available still there for you and stuff like that too. So.
Well, and your $5 gets you in the door, gets you the book, gets you qualified for door prizes, gets you samples from the food table. And then we have our quilt raffle, which goes to the extension scholarships for the kids.
It's a beautiful quilt, as it always is. I mean, you think the people at extension office don't know how to quilt? There's somebody over there who knows how to quilt. They're quilt. You're the quilter, aren't you? Or
we do have a quilt club.
Okay.
Yes, as extension.
But you're one of the quilters,
yes,
right?
We did.
Yeah, because I think we talked about that before. She's the one in there with the tired hands. Although, how much of that's done more modern now? Like is quilting still old school with the quilting circles? Or there are machines that do all that now? I know
depends on who you are.
Gotcha. So that some people are traditionalists and say, no,
So they do have some long-on quilting machines that help with the load and stuff. My house does not have those.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
You're like, no, I keep it the way of the tradition. Gotcha. I get it. No, it makes sense because, again, quilting circles were the social circles of the era. You know what I mean? This is yeah, we could do it easier, but then we don't get to hang out for 6 hours, That's how it is. So good deal. Is there anything we missed? Anything we wanted to share? Anything we wanted to cover that I got sidetracked on? Or
I think that was it.
Okay, good deal. Well, thank you very much. And come on out tomorrow again. Hobson Hall at the Eastern New Mexico State Fairgrounds, 1:30 and 6:30 tomorrow. Go by the Chaves County Extension Office on Chisholm. It's
200 East.
200 East
Suite 4.
Chisholm, Suite 4. And come by, get your tickets today. If you forget, don't worry. Tickets will be available at the door. You just got to get in line. And then you'll be in the longer line.
Yes.
Short line, people already got tickets. So if you want to be in the short line with the cool kids, get your tickets in advance.
There you go.
But if you want to, if you're like, I don't have time, I don't have time today, come on down. We'll get you in. You'll get all the cool stuff, and it'll be the best $5 you ever spent.
Absolutely.
So good deal. Well, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
I'm sure you got about 10 fires to stomp out to get ready for tomorrow, so we'll let you go do that.
It's setup day. Yes.
Well, that's where you get these young backs from these 4-H clubs to get in there and start moving chairs and everything. It's like this is the advantage of youth. Come on, kids. Thank you, guys. Right. Appreciate you. We'll see you. All right, it is 8:47. Let's pause for news and your Wall Street update. Quick break as well. Don't go away.
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update, I'm Jared Cirillo. Of course, we are following a developing story since late last week out of Roswell. Rather than see whether the City Council will affirm Roswell Mayor Timothy Jennings' suspension of City Manager Joe Neeb, Neeb has instead submitted a resignation letter. Both items were on the public agenda for last week's council meeting, but were abruptly removed after councilors received a copy of Neeb's letter. The city nor the mayor have been willing to discuss why Neeb was placed on an unpaid suspension on October 21st, and at least one council member said Thursday that she thinks the public deserves to know what's going on. That was Councilmember Janine Korn-Best. She even went on to say, as far as she believes, Neeb was, quote, bullied out of a job. State law allows mayors to suspend city employees temporarily, but that same law also requires the full council to determine whether it agrees with such a move. Neeb, meanwhile, will continue on the city's payroll through the end of February, using up all of his vacation and sick time until then. Deputy City Manager Mike Matthews will serve in the interim until the city finds a permanent replacement for Neeb. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo reporting.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have cold front on its way through our area. We'll hit about 50 for the afternoon high today, but the wind will be gusty, up to 35 miles per hour, and we should get sunshine through the day. Clear for the overnight hours and getting pretty cold, down to the mid-20s on our low, and then a cool Tuesday coming up with a mix of sunshine and clouds. Our high in the upper 40s, low 40s, and fair Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bernie Bennett. The embattled crypto exchange FTX is filing for bankruptcy. Correspondent Jennifer King reports.
FTX, the world's third largest crypto exchange, filed a petition for bankruptcy protection in Delaware for itself, Alameda Research, and dozens of affiliated companies. FTX experienced the crypto equivalent of a bank run. Founder and CEO Sam Bankman-Fried, recently estimated to be worth $23 billion, resigned, and his net worth has all but evaporated.
The Biden administration's recent move to block exports of advanced computer chips to China signaled a new phase in relations between the globe's two largest economies. The export ban helped set the tone for President Joe Biden's upcoming meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the Group of 20 summit in Asia. Twitter's relaunched premium service, which grants blue-chip verification labels to anyone willing to pay $8 a month, is unavailable after the social media platform was flooded by a wave of imposter accounts approved by Twitter. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bernie Bennett.
Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing here, and I can tell you it's not always easy being a female in a male-dominated business like roofing. I remember one time I was at a meeting to bid on the roof for a local college, and it was me and 13 men. Well, I won that bid, and I'd like to win your business too. My dad was a contractor, and I've been around building and roofing my whole life. I'm licensed and bonded, and I've forgotten more about roofing than most roofers ever knew in the first place. But what really sets Trustmark apart is an obsessive attention to detail that ensures that everything goes smoothly the first time. I promise we will treat you right with respect and we will make you happy. So yeah, it might be a bit odd for a woman to own a roofing company, but give us a try. Let us give you an estimate for your roof. I think you'll be glad you called. For all your roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
It's that time of year again. The 41st Annual Holiday Magic Art and Craft Show. Friday and Saturday, November 18th and 19th at the Eastern New Mexico State Fairgrounds. Featuring a variety of handmade creations by artists, artisans, and crafters from New Mexico and Texas. Mixing returning favorites with many new exhibitors. This year's featured artists are Becky and Galen Bach from Midland, Texas, displaying their truly amazing creations in women's apparel. Plus, delectable treats, including the ever-popular pumpkin rolls and cookies by Deborah Lucas. Delightful mini donuts by Karen Hendricks, and delicious meals by Eli's Bistro. Enter to win great prizes, including an American flag, a cornhole game, a framed signed Gordon Snideout print, a beautiful cowl neck sweater, and even a $100 gift certificate to Pepper's Grill and Bar. Proceeds to benefit the Assurance Home, the First Tee of Southeastern New Mexico, Royal Family Kids Camp, 4-H program, and Roswell's local high schools. Admission is only $2. Kids 12 and under are free. The 41st Annual Holiday Magic Art and Craft Show. Friday and Saturday, November 18th and 19th at the Eastern New Mexico State Fairgrounds.
The average American takes 8 to 10,000 steps each day, and for those suffering from foot problems, each one can be agonizing. The podiatry team at Artesia General Hospital can help diagnose and treat foot and ankle conditions, including diabetic foot issues, arthritis, bunions, or other problems. Doctors Joseph Marino and Joseph Krupa are podiatrists specializing in wound care, fracture care, foot and ankle surgery, and more. Put your feet in good hands. Request an appointment at artesiageneral.com/podiatry APPT.
I've heard it said, speaking my mind is easy, speaking it tactfully, not so much. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage.
Proverbs 15:15 says, a gentle answer deflects anger, but harsh words make tempers flare. Sometimes my greatest accomplishment is keeping my mouth shut. There are times when we argue that it would be easy to lash out. So I have a choice to make. I can either feed the fire or quench it with my words.
Julie and I have learned there's going to be arguments, but we've learned to fight and argue, not to be right, but to get the situation right.
So the next time you're in an argument, try saying something kind from a genuine heart to bring peace in your marriage.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
Hi, my name is Claude Childs, Service Director here at Roswell Ford. We understand that when your vehicle needs service, you have a lot of options, and sometimes it's hard to know who to trust. That's where I come in. My mission and the mission for the service department here at Roswell Ford is the best customer service experience and ensuring your absolute satisfaction. We have a brand new service team of master certified technicians to ensure that things are done right. Our goal is to make sure that every customer drives away with a smile on their face. And if you have diesel engines or a fleet of vehicles, our team is one of the premier service departments in the region for diesel and fleet repairs. To show you the Roswell Ford Service Department difference, we invite you in for a free diagnostic report on any Ford vehicle, regardless of year or model. We are ready to set a precedent and to show you what quality service looks like. So come see us at the Tailgate Nation, Roswell Ford.
Fall is here, but it's not too late to get to Graves Farm and Garden and stock up on green chili in mild, medium, or hot, as well as dried red chili, perfect for Thanksgiving and seasonal recipes. Plus, firewood by the cord, delivered and stacked. Now's the time to stock up on hay bales with Sudan and alfalfa in both small and large bales. And the Graves Farm store is open Monday through Saturday, 8:30 to 5:30, and Sundays 1 to 5. 7.5 miles south of Roswell on the Old Dexter Highway. Graves Farm and Garden, where locally owned means locally grown.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Sigmund Freud once believed that cocaine could be used to help treat a morphine addiction. Mike used bacon to get over his addiction to beef. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 55 minutes after 8 o'clock. Hey, let me ask you a question. You got talent? Do you got it? Think you can sing? Maybe dance, tell jokes? Stupid human tricks, bend your legs funny or something. I don't know. As long as it's family friendly. Hey, the Roswell Community Little Theater, they are back at it. Santa's Talent Search 2022 is happening again this year. Important date coming up here in about a week or so. Actually, I'm wrong. Not even a week. Days this week. Today's the 14th. November's flying by already. On November 17th, which is later this week, the Roswell Community Little Theater will be having auditions for Santa's Talent Search. They are looking for Roswell's most talented people. Come out on audition Thursday, November 17th, 6:30 p.m. at the Roswell Community Little Theater, which is located 1717 South Union, the old Park Twin Theater there in the Plains Park Shopping Center, if you're not familiar. That's home now to the Community Little Theater, been for years. But that's where they're having auditions. And, of course, the Grinch will be back to judge, and two other. I'm not sure what the other judges will be, whether it be the Sugar Plum Fairy, Abominable Snowman, or Rudolph we've had in years past too. So I know the Grinch will be back. I can attest to the Grinch. We'll be back. But so if you've got a talent, we have some great people that do some great, singing, bands performing. We've had acts. They'll do improvisation, or they'll do a scene from a play. So you get everything from someone doing Shakespeare to singing a song to telling jokes. It's if you've got a talent, you can win cash prizes. By the way, cash prizes to the winners of this year. Which the actual event will be in December, which we'll talk more about and invite you to come on out for that. But before then, November 17th. 6:30 p.m. at the Roswell Community Little Theater. Bring your talent and come and try out and come be a part and audition and come see if you can win some cash prizes at this year's Santa Talents. It's a lot of fun. They do a great job with it's kind of a. Now I'll tell you, there is some commitments like the week or two before, where they'll have rehearsals and things and kind of get you to try the acts, and the judges will kind of see your acts before the actual showcase that date and all that. And so they'll get a kind of an idea of what you're doing and learn more about you and all that. So when it comes to performance night in December here, we got it all going down. So there will be some commitment, but you'll learn that at auditions. Again, November 17th this week, 6:30 p.m. at the Roswell Community Little Theater. So it's a lot of fun. Trust me. And you win cash prizes, but they do a great job. If you ever been told you're funny or you got a talent or you got, you can sing. We got some good singers. We got some amazing singers in our community, and they come out and do a great job. And so love to have you do that. But thanks. I love the Community Theater does this each year. It's kind of fun for us to do it. And I'm honored that they ask me each year to help judge it. So not that I got talent. I have, when it comes to, I got some talents. They pay me to talk on the radio. So I got that one. But when it comes to singing, dancing, playing any kind of musical instrument, I'm out. I could tell jokes, but sometimes that's by accident. Sometimes I say things and people start laughing. I'm like, oh, that one's supposed to be funny, but thank you. So anyway, but November 17th, coming up here in just a few days. All right, Town Hall News up next. We'll be back.
Talk radio has landed on the all-new 106.5 FM KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. President Biden says there is no need for a Cold War between the United States and China.
The president met with Chinese President Xi for 3 hours in Indonesia amid increasing tensions between the two nations.
We were candid and clear with one another across the board.
He described their talks as direct and straightforward and said the U.S. is interested in competition, not conflict.
I absolutely believe there need not be a new Cold War.
Mr. Biden did object to China's aggressive actions toward Taiwan and raised human rights concerns. Greg Clugston, Washington.
A manhunt continues in Charlottesville, Virginia, following last night's deadly on-campus shooting at the University of Virginia. 3 people were killed, 2 others injured in the shooting in a parking garage. It's prompted a shelter-in-place advisory. Police have identified a 22-year-old student suspect, said to be a former UVA football player. Looking to book a holiday trip? If so, you have to act fast and prepare for sticker shock.
Airline executives say based on bookings, they expect huge demand for flights over Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. But travel experts say the best deals for airfares and hotels are already gone. Government data shows airfares in October were up 43% from a year earlier. And part of the reason for the high fares, airlines are still operating fewer flights than in 2019, even though passenger numbers are nearly back to pre-pandemic levels. Rhonda Rockster reporting.
It's back to work today for Congress amid an extremely volatile post-election landscape. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has visited the newly liberated southern city of Kherson, where he posed with Ukrainian troops in a central square. On Wall Street, the Dow's 68 points higher, while the Nasdaq is down 52 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau, Christian author and evangelical leader, here to remind you that God's gifts should never be taken for granted. Take, for example, your retirement savings. You've worked hard for your money, and God has rewarded you for that. Now, with record inflation eating away at the value of the U.S. dollar, those rewards are literally being taken from you. But there is a way the faithful can fight back. By diversifying your retirement account into gold, your savings can be protected. And that's what God wants. Even better, a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group allows you to transfer your current retirement funds into gold without fees or penalties. To see how it works, text the word FAITH to 989898 to get a free info kit on gold IRAs. That's FAITH to 989898. Take action right now, and I pray that your family is blessed with continued prosperity.
The cost of caring for asylum seekers taking a huge toll on Britain's foreign aid budget, which may require a $1 billion annual cash infusion.
Aid spending is capped by the government at 0.5% of national income. That's currently about £11 billion. But at least a quarter of that is currently being spent by the Home Office, housing and feeding refugees and asylum seekers in the UK. Yet, such are the numbers of people coming from Ukraine and from across the Channel that the Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, will accept this week the aid spending limit will be breached over the next 3 years. A Treasury spokesperson admitted there were significant pressures on the aid budget because of migration challenges.
The BBC's James Landale. 6 people killed, several dozen injured in a bomb blast in Istanbul. Turkish police say the suspect is in custody and they're hunting for several more. News and analysis, townhall.com. Pittsburgh grinds its way to a win over New Orleans in the NFL.
The Steelers rushed for 217 yards and held the Saints scoreless after halftime, winning 20-10. Najee Harris led the multi-dimensional Pittsburgh ground attack with 99 yards as the Steelers put up over 200 rushing yards for the first time in nearly 6 years.
Well, we need more of it, especially coming from me. Me being the type of guy on the team, I got to provide more like that. Just got to build off after this one.
Kenny Pickett ran for a score, as did wide receiver George Pickens. The Steelers were 3-6. Andy Dalton passed for 174 yards and a score, but was picked twice for the 3-7 Saints. Josh Roundtree, Pittsburgh.
It's not easy being Elon Musk. That was the message a new Twitter owner had for younger people who might seek to emulate his entrepreneurial success. In Musk's words, be careful what you wish for. He spoke earlier today at a business forum in Bali. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The Revolution, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Tres Inviernos
of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. It's cooler now. I can wear my headphones.
Yeah.
We're back to 1 year.
I know. It was exciting there for a minute.
It was. Yeah, it's kind of like a game at this point.
I thought you saw the disappointment in my face when I put them on.
I kind of figured, but I thought maybe it came back. I don't know.
Maybe they'll behave for Daddy.
That's right. It usually doesn't, but sometimes I gotta regulate. Happy Monday, everybody.
Yep.
Happy one week closer to Thanksgiving.
I'm excited about this year.
That's next week, right?
It's next Thursday.
Week.
Yep.
Hey, mini Christmas.
A week from this Thursday. Absolutely. But I'm really looking forward to this year. Getting home to see some family.
Yeah, you're going to OK.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to Oklahoma.
So when do you leave?
We're probably going to head out in order to be there for Thanksgiving. Probably head out Wednesday, like maybe half day work or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm going to go to Albuquerque, and then I'll come back probably maybe Saturday, maybe Friday, depending on work.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then head. I'm not a huge fan of night driving, but I'll do what I can. And we'll get
let
there.
Rhiannon drive.
Yeah, there you go. It is interesting.
Don't drive angry.
It is interesting taking a road trip with 2 kids by yourself. It's
probably a lot more stops.
It's a lot better now than it was.
They're a little bit older
because they're a little bit older. They can kind of keep to themselves, and for the most part, they'll sleep for most of the road trip itself. But yeah, there was a period of time when the first road trip I ever took with a very young Rhiannon, when she was like 2 or 3 years old, I took by myself to Oklahoma, and that was a nightmare.
I imagine it.
Because, well, this is the thing, as a male, you realize this if you're a father, especially a father with a child who's still in like diapers or pull-ups, they don't put changing tables in men's rooms.
No, they don't.
Very rarely do you find a changing table in a men's room.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember there was a Love's that we stopped at somewhere close to the Oklahoma border, and this was on the trip with Rhiannon, when I had to put paper towels down on a bathroom floor at a Love's and change Rhiannon while she was in the men's room while she was screaming, and people outside of the bathroom thinking God only knows what.
Probably thinking some weirdness. Yeah.
So it was a rough trip, but
and you know what? When you hang out in front of a woman's bathroom as a man with a baby, just hanging out there, people don't really like that.
Yeah, it's frowned upon.
You ask them, hey, you mind changing my kid in there?
Can you please do something about her?
Yeah, change my kid in there.
I need an adult.
I'm not allowed in there, and I don't have the table.
Or I could, do the whole.
Right.
I'm not looking. Am I doing this right? I need somebody to watch me.
Well, it could be like Mr. Mom. I can just see the scene from Mr. Mom where you're holding up Rhiannon up to the hair dryer, trying her butt.
Well, this one was fancy. It had the Dyson dryer. You just run her through a couple times.
Oh,
and she's boned dry.
Right as rain.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you don't have to encounter any of that.
It was one of those things where it's like, okay, this is going to be the worst it's going to be, and every trip is going to be better because this one was so bad. You get the worst one out of the way first.
All uphill from here.
Exactly. Get the worst one out of the way
depending
first.
on your perspective. So, yeah.
Get the family safely to Oklahoma, and then I'll let them take over from there.
Nice. You know what I'm happy about Thanksgiving? Because we're going to have ham and turkey.
Ooh.
We're bringing the ham.
Dipping.
We're bringing the ham, and they're going to have turkey. So we're going to have ham and turkey.
I'm pretty sure we're just going to have turkey this year, but again, I'm all about sides.
Well, and my father-in-law introduced this to me. One of my favorite leftover situations is a ham and pimento cheese sandwich.
Dude.
And now I'm having it.
I legitimately went to the store this weekend and bought pimento cheese and had a pimento cheese. Oh, of course.
How awesome is that sandwich?
Phenomenal.
It is an amazing sandwich.
So good.
Pimento cheese is a game changer.
I literally never thought to put mayo on a pimento cheese sandwich, but that
pimento cheese is a game changer for sandwiches. It's I don't know why we put other cheeses on them anymore.
Yeah.
I think pimento cheese should just be the way to go with sandwiches.
Yeah, we've done the world astray when we've introduced other kinds of cheese to a sandwich. It should be all pimento.
It's just a beautiful thing.
Pimento or bust. And I did the old school 7-year-old move where I cut the crusts off.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
That was a pleasant sandwich. I was like, I'm 65 and I don't even care.
I don't even care at all. So very good. Yeah, but and to be honest, I love turkey and pimento too. I mean, ham's my favorite.
See, I've never
but turkey and pimento's good too. I'll eat it that way.
I've never put pimento cheese with like a protein. I've never thought to do that.
It's amazing.
Like a bologna and pimento, maybe.
I never had it, but I try it.
I bet it would be good.
I think you could put any meat on there at all. It's going to be better.
But a ham, I would imagine ham and pimento would probably be better than like a turkey. Turkey, I don't feel like lends itself to the flavor profile of like a pimento. I could be wrong.
It tastes good. I like it. I mix. I have dark and white on my sandwich when I mix. So I mix that with pimento. Occasionally I'll throw other Thanksgiving things on it, depending what's around the house there. You know, I've been known to throw mashed potatoes or stuffing on a sandwich from time to time.
One single slice of cranberry sauce, just for effect.
I've done it. Although
tomato mimicry.
There's something. If you've got giblet gravy left over, open-faced turkey sandwich,
dude, that's all you.
Yeah,
at that point.
I've done that too, by the way. I've open-faced turkey, pimento cheese, and dumped giblet gravy on top of it and ate it.
See, that feels like a messy endeavor.
It is, but it's delicious.
At a point, one would think keep it dry and then just utilize the gravy as an au jus situation.
No, I was fork
like a
and knife
French
in
dip.
this one. I was fork and knife in this
Oh, see,
one.
well, then that's okay.
Yeah, I was
That's-
fork and knife in this one.
At that point, that's not a sandwich.
It was delicious. I just called it delicious.
Fair enough.
Open-faced.
Open-faced.
Open-faced. That's how, it's...
I like my sandwiches like I like my women. Open-faced.
Think of it as dinner Benedict.
Dinnerdict.
There you go.
Benedict. Thanksgiving Benedict.
Very good. All right. Good. Our guest, at least one of our guests. I'm not sure if they're all coming or just Dr. Keon.
The whole office, the hygienist too. That'd be cool.
I didn't know if Dr. Sarah Usher's coming with him or just Dr. Keon. But our Dr. Keon Agar's here from Carabelli Dental. So
Yeah.
He's here. Oh, real quick.
Uh-huh.
I watched Yellowstone. The new season of Yellowstone premiered last night.
Yeah.
It was 2 hours, 2.5 hours actually.
Really?
Well, it was actually
That's a
2
movie.
episodes. It was 2 episodes. They give you two. They gave you the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
But it was close to 2.5 hours of premiere by the time you're done with it.
And how was the experience?
Oh, it's great. I love it. But what I do kind of like is I think people that love the show for a certain reason, like the show obviously it's about, cattle and oil and money, and Montana and barons and land and all that,
Sure.
and all of that, the battles going on there. But the show has always had that country vibe where they spend a lot of time showing the ranchers ranching and doing ranch work and solving ranch problems. And I was a little worried that now that they're into the, whatever is this, 5th season or whatever it is now that we're up to.
Really?
At 4th or 5th. I don't remember which one we're up to now. But whatever this most recent season is, the main character is now governor of the state of Montana.
Oh.
And so I'm kind of like, now that they're doing the governor angle and they're playing the politics and more of that side of it, I thought maybe the ranch side of the show was going to take a backseat, where those scenes where they show them just out doing horse stuff.
You were worried there wasn't going to be enough baling wire featured.
Yes.
This season. Okay.
Well, and I gotta be honest, they did a good job because they've turned it into almost like 2 little stories with different. So now you got the group all running for governor, and it's Dutton and the kids doing all that.
Mr. Governor-elect, I know that you've got 13 bills to sign, but if you wouldn't mind helping me corral these 3 horses, I think we need to get this done first.
Well, but then now, so it's all them. But then it goes back to the sexy man that all the ladies watch it for is now running the ranch and running the cowboys, and so while his wife is helping her dad be governor, he's back, running the ranch, and they flashback on this one to the Dutton, to them as kids dating and going on the date. And how they're gonna, but I just liked the fact that they didn't forget what people tuned in initially for. It like Sons of Anarchy started out with all the but it was still the
for the story, stay for the ranch work.
Well, I mean, it didn't lose its feel like I thought it would. I was cool. So
you watch shows like Yellowstone because it makes for the same reason that I used to watch My 600-Pound Life, because it makes me feel better about my situation.
Well,
it makes you feel you're not a ranch hand, but you're also not not totally slacking.
Well, it's just easy for when shows that get popular get into they gets really rabbit holey, and they gets very certain shows don't pull it off, and Yellowstone is managing to not do that, which I was impressed with.
This show had the danger of potentially running into like a West Wing situation.
I was a little worried about that.
Fair enough.
And I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, no, they're still keeping it to the the farm and the ranch and the whole the scenes where you get the feel good moments of the show, because there's a lot of dark and nasty with the politics, but the feel good moments of the show is when they have a breakthrough and the guy's now a cowboy or something happens.
Son, I'm going to go off and run the state. I'm going to need you to stay here and shirtlessly round these cattle.
And thank gosh for that.
And thank goodness you can shirtlessly round cattle.
All right. right, it is 16 minutes after 9 o'clock. I know Dr. Keon Agar and I believe Dr. Usher's she's here, I hear her, as well from Carabelli Dental. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have cold front on its way through our area. We'll hit about 50 for the afternoon high today, but the wind will be gusty, up to 35 miles per hour, and we should get sunshine through the day. Clear for the overnight hours and getting pretty cold, down to the mid-20s on our low, and then a cool Tuesday coming up with a mix of sunshine and clouds. Our high in the upper 40s, low 40s, and fair Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 41 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 55%. And our humidity is actually going to be higher than our temp today. So enjoy that. Winds currently out of the north, 24, gusting to 35 miles per hour. They say we're going to hit 50 today. Allegedly, we're going to hit 50 today. But the breezes are going to be with it. It's actually breezier now than it will be this afternoon, if you want a glass half full scenario. But winds out of the north today, 20 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour, decreasing this afternoon, 15 to 20.
So the wind speed and the humidity is higher than the temperature?
Correct.
Sounds like a great combination.
Yeah, exactly. And then tonight, good news, the wind's dying down, mostly clear. Overnight low of 25, so trickle the water and bring the pets inside and do all that stuff. Winds out of the northeast, 5 to 10. Tuesday, it's actually colder, but less windy. So maybe it doesn't feel as cold. Glass half full, trying to spin it again. Partly cloudy, 46 for a high tomorrow. Winds out of the northeast at around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, mostly clear. Overnight low 30, so it'll be a little warmer than tomorrow night. East winds at around 5 miles per hour. Wednesday, more like Tuesday, mostly sunny, highs right around 46, east winds 5 to 10. Thursday, we're back into the mid-50s, but just for the day. Mostly sunny, 55 for a high. Friday, we're back down into the 40s, mostly sunny, 47. And then the weekend, kind of like the week. Sunny and 44 Saturday, sunny and 53 on Sunday. So if you like 40s and 50s and sort of winter-like weather, then this week's going to be your favorite. So.
Are you doing the weather in hopes to get a certain weatherman's job?
Oh, no.
That may be vacant? No,
No. I'm no meteorologist. I'm just an idiot who can read the National Weather Service incorrectly like everybody else. So. All right, it is 19 minutes after 9. We got to pay a few bills. Quick 3-minute break. And then we're going to have Dr. Sarah Usher and Dr. Keon Agar with Carabelli Dental join us. And then we'll be back. Don't go away.
If a sports injury is keeping you from the physical activities you love, the sports medicine team at Artesia General Hospital can help. Their orthopedic specialists and physical therapists work closely with you throughout diagnosis and treatment. No matter the injury, from ACL injuries, golfers and tennis elbow to foot and ankle pain, they'll get you back in the game. Appointments are available in Artesia or Carlsbad. Request an appointment at artesiageneral.com/sports.
Plateau Wireless delivers the speed you need. With low rates, no data caps, no hidden fees, and no throttling, now's the time to sign up. Go for the True 100 with super fast 100 megs upload and download speeds. Perfect for sharing, HD streaming, working and learning from home, and more. Or go for the True 500, delivering the power and speed you need for 4K streaming, gaming, downloading, and more. With plans starting at just $60 a month, it's never made more sense to switch. Visit in-store, visit plateautel.com, or call 877-752-8328. Plateau Wireless, a proud supporter of our veterans. Fall is here, but it's not too late to get to Graves Farm and Garden and stock up on green chili in mild, medium, or hot, as well as dried red chili, perfect for Thanksgiving and seasonal recipes. Plus, firewood by the cord, delivered and stacked. Now's the time to stock up on hay bales with Sudan and alfalfa in both small and large bales. And the Graves Farm store is open Monday through Saturday, 8:30 to 5:30, and Sundays 1 to 5. 7.5 miles south of Roswell on the Old Dexter Highway. Graves Farm and Garden, where locally owned means locally grown. Sound the alarm. Back Backdraft Barbecue is ready to set your taste buds on fire with the best slow smoke barbecue around, by the plate or by the pound. Plus, truly one-of-a-kind creations like brisket nachos or the 5-alarm bowl, or a savory Sammy like the hook and ladder, or take on the 1098 challenge seen on Man vs. Food with over 4 pounds of everything Backdraft makes. Will you make the Wall of Fame or the Wall of Shame like Casey Webb of Man vs. Food? Open Tuesday through Saturday 11 to 8 and Sundays 11 to 5 in Roswell at 301 Railroad Avenue. Backdraft Barbecue, alarmingly delicious.
Hi, I'm Dr. Keon at Carabelli Dental. Same-day smiles are what we do. My passion is helping patients chew, talk, and live with confidence. That's why I'm one of the few doctors in the U.S. who can create beautiful same-day smiles with the latest digital implant technology. This procedure is life-changing. Just ask Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean. I've been that voice that you've heard on the radio for most of my life, but I'm also a dad to 2 amazing kids. I've had a million reasons to smile, but in all my old pictures, I was never smiling. Truth is that life of improper care and being dealt a bad hand genetically left me practically with no teeth. It affected everything from the way I ate, the way I talked, and of course how I interacted with people. And that's where Dr. Keon and Carabelli stepped in. They eased my fears. They explained every step of the process in a way that I could understand, and they made me feel almost like I was part of the team. And now, I can't stop smiling. I have so much more confidence, and I love looking in the mirror now. I can't explain how much of a difference Dr. Keon's dental implant process made for me.
Our team can help you find your smile too. Come see us at Carabelli Dental, 575-622-4455.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The Goodyear Rubber Company researched and concluded that shoes wear out faster on the right foot than on the left. To fix this, just walk backwards for half the day. Here's Mike Winters.
You got to hit the button to start talking for that to work. I learned that day one in DJ school. Good morning. It is 23 minutes after 9 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning from Carabelli Dental, we have Dr. Keon Agar and Dr. Sarah Escher back with us. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, DJ Mike.
How? Thank you, Dentist Keon. How you guys doing this morning?
Good. Trying to stay warm.
It is. That's. Is there any? Is there enough equipment at the dental office to heat the building up a little bit more than normal?
You know what? We have that cool, antique dental chair in the front with, the turbine foot pedal. So if
let me fire that bad boy up.
Things really get bad.
Yeah.
Yes, we got that going for us.
Yeah.
I think it's got wood in it.
Or,
just kidding.
Or we'd burn it.
I'm just joking, Historical Society of Roswell. I'm just kidding.
Now, we got many other chairs we can burn first.
We got something in the back.
It's got some nice wood in it. It's not like the particle
board. One's in the lobby. We can light them up.
Yeah. We are going to, hopefully, we're going to be revamping our whole waiting room here pretty soon. So those chairs can go to the fire pit.
We'll
Yeah.
have a big comfy, bonfire. But you're not in them very long. I never sit in those very long. It's not like your normal, your primary care doctor. I don't care who it is. You're always waiting 45 minutes to even see them.
Right.
I know, we don't even keep magazines in there because
not worth it.
Yeah, it's not worth it. So
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, they get caught up in the little magazine article, and it's just they don't want to come back.
Is that a budget expense? Like magazine subscriptions for any doctor's office? Is that
I'm
a
sure.
budget?
We haven't. We haven't had.
I think what we realize is the same ones get read over and over and over and over again, and we're just gosh, we're not good at this. We're not good at picking which magazines people like, and so.
Well, they are short.
Yes.
Weights. So maybe they're just picking up from the artiple from 6 months ago when they were in.
Exactly. Exactly. They're like, where's that one?
I'm just finishing that thing about building your own shelf. Hold on.
Halfway done. Where's the rest?
They start asking, do you have that Home and Garden from 97?
But do you remember when there's magazines everywhere? I remember my mom kind of sneakily, kind of ripping out the recipe and putting it in her purse. And you're just like, Mom, or the whole actual roll up a magazine. You're just like, what is this? I remember
the
that.
days before you can just take a picture of the magazine.
Page?
Yeah,
that's right.
My mom did that a lot too. We go waiting rooms, and my mom would just be like,
that's right.
I'd like that quiet hair,
exactly,
folded a couple
Stealth
times,
and
then you kind of quietly rip,
Stealth
yeah. Or you start doing things like whistle or things to
or
kind of
kids, wait,
make some noise.
It's the same.
Why
move.
are you so quiet right now, children?
It's the same move guys do at grocery stores, and when we got to let one slip. Same move.
Go straight to the Pringles aisle and start rustling some ruffles.
Let me touch all these bags of chips here.
Mike, this is you have female viewers. We don't want them to know about all our tricks,
all
man.
of our secrets.
Yeah, this is taboo.
That's
you can't
good
talk
to
about
know,
these
though.
things.
Sad part is we think we're doing it secret. They all know. They think we think it's secret. We're pulling it off, and they're all just making fun of us.
Well, it's like we look down the chip aisle. We're like, oh, we'll come back later.
Yeah, that's right.
Are we still on the deuce? Is this still happening right now?
No, we're tracing beer at this point. So, but when they're not, burning furniture, they're doing dentistry work. No, all joking aside here, but really, that's we were joking earlier about all the stuff, but to be honest, the magazine thing's legit. I'm telling you, there's no. I never wait at the dentist's office more than like 5 minutes. I sit down and it's like, and as soon as about the time I get my butt grooved, they're like, "We're ready for you to get back there."
Yeah, right.
Like, okay.
You finally warm the seat up, and it's like,
that's right. For the next person.
Yeah. So. And this time of year, it actually matters. Having a nice warm little seat.
Today, people be thankful that you were hanging out for a few minutes in that chair before you get here. But I imagine, do you guys, when you get to the holidays, do you get is there more emergency type stuff that happens during the holidays than is there a lot of the biting of the bone or whatever? And
someone forgot the wishbone.
Yeah,
there's always the post Halloween candy debacles.
Yeah,
people suddenly are eating Laffy Taffies, and it's like, or what are the dots? Dots.
Oh yeah, dots.
Had a person knock a crown, bite a crown off with a dot.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there like, why are you eating? A legitimate question. The only answer is because of Halloween. The only reason anybody eats dots.
I don't think anyone buys dots any other time of the year.
No one goes to the movie theaters and like, I'm going to buy some dots and eat them during the movie.
To be honest,
no offense to the people who do that.
There's one person that would disagree with you. My wife.
Oh, really?
She's a huge dots fan.
Are you kidding me?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Really?
Well,
she loves them.
Switch to Laffy Taffies.
I think it's like nostalgic thing or
something.
Sure. So usually like a birthday or something, if I can see them because they're not usually ready available in places.
Yeah.
Once in a while I stumble across one, I'm like, ooh, dots. I'll throw it in the stocking or something.
This is like way back in dental school. I remember this old professor, and he swore that if you needed to get a crown or something off of a tooth, just dry the tooth off and put a dot on there and have a patient bite. No, I'm not kidding. Have a bite for 5 minutes or a temporary crown that wouldn't come off. He said that sometimes
did you have to cut it in half first so you get the sticky?
Yeah, he said just get it a little wet on each side and put it in there and just have them bite for 5 minutes and then try to open.
Oh my gosh!
And
that
to take
horrible.
Something off of a tooth, you do one on the tooth. I have never tried it. We don't keep dots in stock.
Nor do I think you can do that for cavities and stick that on there and it can just take off the cavity. It doesn't really work.
It doesn't work like that. But
you fill the whole cavity with?
I'm sure.
Yeah,
and then come back in a month and it's take the tooth out. Yeah.
It's like we're just gonna rot it all out. We'll stuff a dot in there.
Yeah,
and the next time we see it, we'll just yank
or maybe
the
some cotton candy. You could just kind of make it really hard in your fingers and stuff the cotton candy in there.
There you
go. I've had several patients come in. It's just normal though. It's like it's like caramel apples.
Caramel apples sounds good right now.
Just weird stuff that people don't usually eat all year long. It's like right. And it's nostalgic. You're like, hey, I want a candy apple in years. Yeah. And then candy apples are even worse. Yeah.
I think it's a memory thing, right? Like smells, tastes, all that jazz. It's a memory thing, and it brings back
the only
the
reason
warm and
Smarties
fuzzy.
still exist.
Exactly.
I will say I hadn't had a Smartie in a long time, and I recently had one of my kids' Smarties, and they're actually there's something about how dusty they are.
Yeah.
They're crunch, but they kind of almost
took you back to 7 years old.
Yeah. I feel like they were medicine that don't work, and they said, send it to the candy division.
Right? Yeah.
Someone will eat it.
But this is but that's, and then it's usually hey, we really work hard to try to make sure our patients are kind of set up for the holidays.
Sure.
If it's front teeth, dentures, implant stuff, crowns, whatever it is.
I really think that one of the things that Dr. Egger's really been providing treatment to patients recently is this full mouth rehabilitation cases. So what's happening, people are like, look, I've had this certain smile, or I've had this certain problem, or all my teeth are kind of breaking off, but I still want teeth, and I don't want dentures because I don't want to put them in out. I want to be a normal human like you and have teeth in my mouth and chew. So Dr. Agar actually, there's been several cases that he's completed over the past couple of weeks, and what's really cool about it is that patients come in with one set of teeth that, they're not functional. You can't eat, you can't smile. And as you mentioned, coming into this time of the year, people want to smile, people want to chew. And, you talk about, New Year's resolutions sometimes is a thing for some people and some people not. But this type of treatment is kind of what people are looking for, right?
Sure.
They want to be able to smile and chew and all this stuff without having to babysit teeth. They want the teeth in, and they want them to be natural human teeth, or, maybe not human teeth, but like the teeth that they had.
Work as advertised.
So one of the things that I think that's pretty amazing that I've seen people walk into our office with a certain, maybe not so great smile or function, can't eat or whatever, but they're leaving with teeth. They are smiling with teeth that don't come out. And I really think that we should highlight Dr. Agar on this morning, because I think it's been going phenomenally amazing for patients. And maybe he can speak to it.
And how much does that affect mental health?
Absolutely.
We're talking dental health, but, forget the dental health side of what the benefits they're getting here. How much mental health here where how many of these people weren't social butterflies?
How
they
many
didn't want to go out
of these people where you talk to them just face to face, you see them at the grocery store, and it's like something funny happens, but they're the people who right away cover their smile with their mouth, or kind of like with a firm lip, they bring those lips really tight together, and they want to laugh, and they want to be happy, but it's like they
people's
hunker
personalities
down.
change over stuff like this.
Absolutely.
And so I imagine, how many times do you guys have where you maybe someone that's a little, reserved or shy,
Sure.
And then all of a sudden their teeth, and then they, next thing you know, oh my goodness, this person loves socializing and talking.
Exactly.
And it's like a different person all of a sudden comes out of this shell, because now they're not embarrassed by people seeing them in their mouth or afraid that they're gonna catch a glimpse of something wrong in their mouth.
Exactly. And get judged, right?
And I had one patient tell me that she it was interesting. Her goal was not to get done by the holidays. Her goal was to get it done by her husband's 40th or 50th high school reunion, because she wanted to show up and
impress.
And she looked great. I mean, she really looked amazing.
She's like, I want to be the $1 million.
Yeah,
people turn their
she
head
went from someone who never ever smiled to the biggest, whitest, prettiest smile in the whole building. So, or I had another one that was telling me that she wasn't very much a social butterfly, but recently we just had governor elections, and there was a kind of a campaign where DeSantis from Florida and Ron Katie were at something in Carlsbad.
That's a lot of white teeth.
Yeah, and it was funny. And she said that. She said she's like, normally everywhere I go, I have probably the most expensive, prettiest, whitest smile in the building. She was like, it's the only place I've ever been where there was two people who had more expensive and
love or hate Ron Ketty. He's got the pearliest whites I've ever seen. It's like, ding!
She was the only person I've seen that had whiter teeth. But anyways, so this is interesting. People like stuff, little things like that, where they start noticing, and they give them confidence, and it's so it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Well, and then the functional side to it. How many people just you're cranky because every time you eat it hurts on that side, or you're dealing with the pain and you just deal with it. And I'm sorry, when you're in pain, you're not always
quality of life
cheaper.
isn't great, and it really does poke a stick in your side every single time.
But when you're not in pain every time you bite down on corn or eat, something simple like Jell-O or something, and you're worrying about it getting in there and messing with you.
Or at all these gatherings. I mean, even if you go to a dinner with your family or friends or one of these big events, how much confidence do you have that you can chew and then just smile and just it's all good, So I think you brought up a good point at the confidence about it all. I think that's where it goes down to, is confidence. And
absolutely.
It's if people think about expense and things like that, there's so many options that I think people need to realize, that there's so many options to get the smile that you want, and for it to be a long-lasting, long-term solution, not a onesie twosie. Well, let me just get this done this time. Oh, my insurance needs to renew. It's not about insurance renewing. It's not about let me just do onesie twosie. It's like, we need to help you and get what you want. How long have you been waiting for this? How long have people been suffering or putting themselves on the back burner?
Absolutely, yeah. And the thing too is, like you talk about the embarrassment embarrassment factor. People they think, well, I didn't take care of my teeth. I'm going to be judged for this. I'm going to be, and I'm like,
at the reunion, right?
But and this is something, and I think this is part of why maybe less people are more apt to do this, or less people are making fun of, because we understand now that poor oral health isn't always about not attention to detail.
Exactly.
I mean, you can brush your teeth every day, but if your hereditary is just not, on your side, then guess what? Then you're going to have more teeth issues than someone who doesn't have those problems.
Of course.
And I think
it's just science.
It's also one of those things, it's like you said, it's the hand you're dealt, but it's also the hand you're dealt in life. Like, sometimes this life happens. And that's what I've heard from a lot of patients is that, most of them, it's not because they didn't try to or whatever. It's like things happen.
Sure.
They get, suddenly they've got a sick kid or a sick parent, and they're the primary caregiver for this, or they're working night shift and working a day. All these things, people, it's one of those things that, people I think are always worried that we're going to judge them and it's not about that. It's one of those things that, like, one thing I tell patients is like, there's only 2 days a year you can't change, yesterday and tomorrow. You can only change today, and you're here and getting in the door for for a lot of those bigger cases that patients are really looking for life transformations. It's exciting, but I also recognize how hard it is to get in the door for them. It is so difficult because there's so much unknown, right?
Yes.
And there's so much embarrassment. There's so much, but it's not. We try to make it very we do everything we can to make it so because it's really a partnership. We have to be,
Absolutely.
The other thing is a transition through it all. I mean, when you think about this, it's a drastic change from having my teeth that aren't so great to wow, super perfect teeth. People aren't worried about, am I going to always have teeth? Am I going to go without, am I going to have no teeth? Like, what is this? What is the process? What's the steps? And I think that people's minds should be put at ease. It's like, you will always leave any appointment you come to, you will leave with teeth in your mouth. You will be presentable, right? Because you don't just want to try. People have lives, people go to work, and they're never going to be put in a situation. Dr. Agar, for these treatments, never put people in a situation where it's like, oh, you got to be home for 2 weeks. It's not like that. It's like you come in on a Friday, you rest over the weekend, and if you would like to go to work on Monday, you're presentable, and you
or if
can
you want
go
to
to
use
work
me as
on
an
Monday.
excuse, I'll give you a doctor's
Yeah,
office.
if you want to be out for 2 weeks, I could hook you up.
Well, and maybe a day or two. After that, it's on your own. Your boss is going to.
And every situation is different. But one of the things is that those type of relationships you build with those patients, you're not their patients anymore. You're really someone who really becomes to take someone. And
it's hometown dentistry. You go to church and you go to the store and you go to these people and you run into your patients all the time, and so you're talking to them. It's about life and about everything else.
And it's interesting how much you get to know. So say someone comes in, and a typical appointment, they come in, we do a consultation, we talk. It's mostly it's almost 59 minutes of the consultation is just talking. And just get to know each other, get to understand where they're coming from.
Keon has a bad habit of asking you a question right when 10 people in your mouth are trying to answer.
I just wait for that 10th person to get
He's like, how you doing today? I'm like,
perfect.
It's true.
Well, it sounds like we're on the same page.
You end up spending so much time, looking at these X-rays, these 3D images. You spend so much time planning on creating their teeth and their smile that you end up getting it's almost like you really develop a relationship with this person, and you have to, and it's one of those things that, and then now you're really bonded to this person to really help them get there. So it's fun.
Well, you go through the struggle with them. Because at the end of the day, yes, you're the ones fixing the problems they're having, but you're going through the struggle with them. You're seeing it. You're the one encountering difficulties when it's like, okay, this one's being tricky, and and so who else better understands what they're going through than you guys?
Exactly.
Because you do this all the time. This is what you do.
It's one of those things that we go through. It's like anything, whether whatever type of treatment it is. But when the bigger it is, the more complicated it gets. But we do a lot of surgery, and it's one of those things that things are going to happen. You're going to have complications, and I would say that without a doubt, most predictable dentistry we've ever been practicing on every level. Just the stuff we're able to do, the medications we can offer, the stuff we do for patients, the techniques, it's the best it's ever been. 10 years ago, dry sockets were a thing every week, and now it's like every couple months. So it's but in general, there's still complications.
Sure,
it's just knowing that we're going to be there with you the whole time.
Well, and I think part of it too is the advances in science.
Yeah,
we've realized how much dentistry is important in the overall health. So whereas like when I was a kid, they never tied in your dentist with your healthcare provider or anything. It was always separate, different things. And now they're like, wow, there's so many. With the heart and all that stuff alone, there's so many connections.
We consult with a lot of the specialists and the physicians in town and around New Mexico. And honestly, people who come from out of state, and they're looking at us like, why do you need my cardiologist information? I'm like, this is a team. We need to make sure we're all on the same page.
They realize that dental care, when I was a kid growing up, and I'm sure you guys experienced similar, it's, the dentist was never part of that. Same your eye doctor
kinda
too.
Siloed,
It was like eye doctors
out.
and dentists were kind of
Exactly.
separated from your
whole body.
your primary care, and you're like, oh, that's a eye thing, that's a tooth thing, and
Go see a dentist.
Now you go to the dentist, and it's like, why are you asking me about my blood pressure meds and all the other things?
Exactly.
Why is that relevant? It's like, well, we're learning.
Exactly.
Right.
It's all connected.
Yeah, we've had people that got tooth work done, and it turns out it impacted their heart, and now we can figure that out. And I'm sure there's been other similar deals, other organs and things they found connections to as well. It's a human body, very complex, made up, and all of it works in concert, in unison.
Exactly.
And even something you don't think is connected is connected.
Exactly.
And if you think about your mouth, how do you get any kind of substance into your body? How do you get nutrition? How do you do everything? Your mouth is one of your most important parts of your body. It does a lot.
Exactly.
And so for it to not be connected to your heart or your lungs or where it gets everything else it needs, it just makes sense. And it just took us a while to say, duh, maybe we should connect the dots here.
and one thing that Sarah and I, because we practice a little bit different than your typical, traditional dental office, where our practice is very much practicing at a really high level of medicine, I would say. And I'm not saying, I just mean that honestly.
Sure.
Because there's the sedation component, there's the sleep apnea component.
It's like a real
surgery.
doctor's office and everything.
And people,
but yeah, you're right. I get what you're saying.
And one of the things we'll get blood work on people all the time.
Yeah.
We'll ask to go get blood work, and people there's times when people kind of give us a funny look, and they're like, what? When did a dentist? But it's because we're doing surgeries, because we're doing things that, and we want to see the whole picture.
And sometimes you prescribe medications and things, and sometimes those might interact with other meds you're on, and so we need to know that information.
It's all about optimizing the patient. I think that's what it comes down to, optimizing the patient for the best results, honestly. And one of the things that you guys mentioned was, taking care of that patient in our office, and Keon mentioned it a little bit, was the sedation part of what we do, right? All these big things are done with sedation. Wisdom teeth I removed with sedation treatments, so people get to relax during the whole process.
All the things people are scared about,
exactly.
they do the sedation with.
Yes.
So it's very...
We can manage and use different medications, as you mentioned, to manage the pain. So you're not in a situation of pain. It's a, hopefully as much as possible, a pain-free experience while you're in my office, and then let's get you on some medications afterwards, so you still have that pleasant experience. So all of this is done in a situation, in an environment where you're comfortable. You have sedation medications to help you through that process. So I think that's another good point. Is we try to keep people comfortable and relaxed.
Absolutely, and I know we were talking a little bit about this earlier. I just want to kind of touch back real quick, and then we kind of ventured off, but. We were talking about your mouth, and you've had this your whole life, and so people get a little scared when you're like, okay, I'm going to put in maybe dental implants or something like that.
Exactly.
And you're like, is it going to feel different? It's like I've felt my mouth; it feels a certain way its whole life.
Yeah.
Is it going to feel like someone else's mouth, and it's going to feel weird to me or whatever? And and that's something that people have a concern about and things, and so you got to talk to them about that. But and I know, of course, folks have heard your commercials and things, and know that Sean has. Got a complete rework of his
phenomenal
mouth.
work, yes.
Thanks to you guys, and obviously he's a DJ. He talks for a living on the radio.
Yes.
He was very concerned that am I going to have a lisp now? Am I going to talk
exactly.
funny? His wasn't worried so much about am I going to chew different. He's like, can I still do my career? Can I speak?
Yeah,
exactly.
And obviously we turned out fine. We're good to go here. But that's where you guys come in and sit there and talk and say, look, yeah, I get it. That's your moneymaker right there. We and sure, at first, because it's a process and you got to file, and so there's a little adjustment, but once it's there, it's boom.
Exactly, and the thing about that is it's all customized to you. You are the human, as Dr. Agar mentioned. All the things that he does behind the scene. You should see. It's like this room full of monitors, and he's just like 3Ding this, 3Ding that. This implant, this will go here. He's recreating the smile, but it's a customized process for you. You know, so that's why Sean, sounds like Sean, is because Dr. Agar took that extra time to say this needs to happen to make sure that we get the result we want.
Absolutely.
I would say you probably had these patients too. One of the hardest things though is, because we do a lot of, kind of bigger dentistry stuff. And, but I swear one of the hardest things is patients who are like musicians.
I would
like
imagine
vocal
the
musicians.
Yeah, they're probably the most.
Even if they're just like, hey, I'm in the choir at my church, and I'm the lead vocalist. And you're like,
you're messing with their instrument.
Boy.
Absolutely,
right? And so it's very to get the phonetics. For
I would
a normal
imagine
person is we have it pretty tuned down. To get it down for singing, it's so funny though. I had one patient that I was really nervous about because she has a very strong voice. She's the lead singer of a band, and they tour and stuff like that. Super nice people, and so got her all set up, and she had and I told her, give it a couple weeks to get used to it before you really have any singing gigs.
Sure.
Comes in, we get everything in there, and I'm like, okay, so a couple weeks, and then we'll see you again, see how it's going. She's like, great, and I'm gonna try them out this week. I have a concert in wherever she was going. I'm like, oh, you're going to a concert? She's like, no, we're headlining.
And you're like, no, that's not what I said.
And I'm like, oh gosh, and
I did not say 2 days. I said 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I was sitting there. I'm like, oh man. So I was like, well, I'll see you next week. See how it went. And she came in, and I just sat there, and I just looked at her, and I was like,
how was the concert?
Do I want to know how it went? And she just looked at me. She was like, best. She's like, I hit every note I've never hit before. She was,
cool.
It was so cool, but it was really exciting. But I was, I'm not gonna lie.
You enhanced
No,
it.
barely. It was better. I was sitting there. I'm like, oh man,
if she writes a song or something, I think that's worthy of a writing credit.
There you go.
Just saying.
There you go.
But it was,
I know she hit. That's all you.
That's
Dr.
honestly best friend. I just remember sitting there, and there was like one of those like 5-6 second pauses where she just kind of looked at me, and she was kind of messing with me, I think. And I was sitting there, I was like, oh man,
dang it.
Oh man, what am I gonna do to get her
she could
voice
probably
back?
tell you physically were nervous about it.
Yeah, I was like,
gotta hope it didn't screw up her singing gig.
We have studied all these textbooks and all this stuff on teeth, right? There's very few chapters on, this is how you recreate a perfect baritone. There's no chapter on that.
There's not a YouTube video on how to do that.
There's no chapter
for
on
the patient who is a famous singer.
Yeah. It's like there's no chapter on like, hey, it's like, yeah, we could do the S's and the F's and all this stuff, but there's no phonetic chapter on like, this is how you recreate a musician's mouth, and it's like, whew.
Sure. Well, it's just going like my wife went through with her brain stuff here over the summer.
Yeah.
That brain, and I would imagine that because your brain has paths and ways on how it. So when you breathe or when you sign your name, you do it the same way every time. You're right. And so like with my wife, that got messed up with. So like the first time she had to sign her name, she had to think for a full minute on how to sign it before she did.
Man.
And so I would imagine it's the same scenario here. It's like, wait a minute, is the chamber built the same? Is it going to, is it going to, the same tone going to come out now because the chamber's not the same? Yeah. But good news is, yes. The answer is yes.
But I think one thing we really try to do, both of us, is really recreate. One of the things I think in what we do is a little bit different is we really try to use, again, going back to the whole body thing, right? But like when we do implants, the traditional old school way to do it is you take a tooth out and you come back 6 months later and you place an implant and you come back 6 months later and then you put a tooth on it. And now the way we do stuff is very much the top way to do it in the world is basically put a tooth in immediately to recreate, don't let the body heal away from what it is used to.
I gotcha.
Stay with the biology.
It's like kind of doing a switcheroo and see if you can just kind of incorporate it in its own way.
Yeah, you're basically just telling the body just like, oh well.
Yeah, nothing to see here. It's exactly the same. You're fine.
Nothing to see. Let's just go back. So it's and it's true though, and it's funny that in whether, in all aspects of what we do, whether it's recreating like pretty smiles and stuff, really understanding the biology and the functionability of like what that person had to come with in the beginning is really, really important. It makes it a lot of fun to like basically recreate biology, but just make it in a more aesthetic, functional way.
Absolutely. So we're running short on time, and I want to talk with Sarah about the sleep apnea side of things a little bit here. But this is what if you're experiencing it, if your teeth are messed up, let's use the term. If things aren't working right there, you're maybe you are, maybe you aren't. But if you're experiencing embarrassment, if you're thinking if it's a functionality thing, it's a cosmetic thing. To be honest, it's when it comes to your teeth, it's all functionality. Cosmetics kind of the bonus. Because if your teeth don't look right, they're probably not functioning right either. They're not chewing. They're not doing.
And it's never too late to get the process started. Come in, Dr. Egger said, and it's for the obstructive sleep apnea stuff as well. Come in for a consultation, whether it be for that stuff that we were talking about with Dr. Agar's whole full mouth rehabilitation, or for sleep apnea, right? So
absolutely,
it's always the right time to start the conversation because then at least you have the options and you know what path you're going to lead down, right? So sleep apnea, we talk about people who are tired, who are kind of maybe grumpy throughout the day, who maybe, need some extra help with breathing at night. You might be that person with your spouse in the bed who you're like, oh my gosh, are you breathing? Wake up. You're freaking me out. Like you just held your breath for like 2 minutes, so.
And then everyone thinks, oh, now I got to get the Darth Vader machine.
Exactly. Yeah. And then they're like, great.
Or whatever it makes noise.
Right. Exactly, with the straps.
I think it's just a giant leaf blower that just attached to your face.
So if you date a gardener, maybe you don't mind so much.
Exactly. With all due respect to the sleep physicians out there who do use that appliance, and all the patients who use your CPAP and it's successful,
and depending on your
phenomenal.
case, that might be the right avenue for you. But there might be an alternative, and you can help them with it.
Exactly,
but going back to one of the things that I think is so awesome about what Dr. Usher brought to our practice, and it taught me about is like now when I look at 10 years ago when the way most dentistry has always been is like, okay, well, it looks like you grind your teeth, man, it looks like you also have heartburn, man, like weird, you don't sleep too, and your tongue is huge, and when I lean you back you don't breathe so well, we're going to give you a night guard. It's like what were we doing? And then they're saying, hey, I have joint pain. Well, why do you have joint pain? Because I'm grinding my teeth all night. Why are you grinding your teeth all night? Well, and we're not solving the problem. We're not treating the
Just putting a Band-Aid on it.
Right.
Exactly.
When you look at what we can do with sleep apnea, we're actually providing a cure, right? That has all these problems that cascade from it.
Sure.
High blood pressure, diabetes, cardiac problems, legit heart problems. I mean, the higher risk of stroke, all that stuff. And then you look at the joint issues. People, all these. I mean, you see patients nowadays. When I have patients come in who are like, "Oh, I have joint problems. I'm grinding my teeth. My teeth are all flat. I don't like that. They're breaking. They're cracking." The first thing I'm thinking is, we need to get you checked out for sleep apnea. And 9 times out of 10, that's exactly what's going on. And then once you address that, then you start putting them back together, right?
Yeah.
You start putting the teeth back into function, all that stuff. But the difference, people think that putting the teeth all back together, even the smile, is really what changed their life.
Sure.
I can tell you right now, the patients who I've seen who have had all the stuff I've talked about, the high blood pressure, the diabetes. I'm not saying you have all of those, but the heartburn, all that stuff. The thing that changes their life the most is the fact that they sleep 8 hours.
That's the other thing is you sleep all night and you wake up refreshed. I mean, that was the biggest difference my wife noticed when she started using the sleep apnea.
The oral appliance?
Yeah, the appliance there. And you don't realize how much you wake up at night.
Right.
Not realize, maybe because you rolled over or whatever.
Exactly.
It's not about having to pee and when you get older anymore. When it's younger, it could be these kind of things.
It's about it's all it's about is making sure you can breathe while you're sleeping. I mean, apnea pretty much means you stop breathing. So the oral appliance you bring up is a good point. And we have it. Your wife is a wonderful example of then how you mentioned, hey, she's getting sleep. I mean, what happens if you don't get sleep? What happens if you took that red eye flight and you're awake all night? How do you feel the next day? You feel like crud.
Yeah.
And people deal with this on a daily basis.
Your physical and mental game improve when you get well rested.
And not only you're not resting, you're literally just sitting there not getting oxygen.
Yeah. By the way,
you're
that
also
could
not
kill you.
No, seriously, it's like
you might not wake up that morning.
By the way, you might suffocate and die.
Exactly.
Right. And one thing I'll talk to patients about is they'll be like, hey, I just snore. And I'm sitting there thinking, and I'm telling them, it's like, hey, if you're snoring, the fact that your tongue, I mean, think about it, it's like whistling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not going to whistle on the radio, but
if you want.
Yeah. Is that going to blow people's eardrums out? But, you to make that level of sound, you have to close off that airway so much, like with the snoring. You know, you really have to close it off so much. Let that tongue really close it off to make that noise, right?
Absolutely.
You're not moving air. The oxygen's not getting to your heart, to your brain, to your organs, to the rest of your body. And so you just start to deteriorate. You start to go into the stress level. I mean, you look at all this cascade of issues.
Killing yourself slowly.
No, it is.
Doing.
It's 100%
It's
that.
true.
And people don't realize there's permanent damage happening every single time. I mean, just imagine you're just suffocating all night, right? I mean, that's when you're supposed to rest. Your brain's supposed to reset. And so it's not only, you know, are you not getting restful sleep? It's like, are you killing yourself overnight? You know, and it's terrifying, but it's also terrifying to think how many people have this, right? I mean, I'm one of them. I'm one of Sarah's
I'm
patients.
sure it's millions and millions of Americans.
And addressing that was a huge deal. I was having some weird, this is just personal, Sarah remembers, I went to Dr. Adahar, so I was having some weird heart arrhythmias. And the first thing he recommended is a sleep study. Got the sleep study done. Yep. Sleep apnea.
Now, what's what did it, huh?
And then literally have not had those arrhythmias since.
Nice.
So as you guys are talking here, I think that's what's important is that the CPAP machine is the gold standard for sleep apnea, but not everyone could use the CPAP machine. Not everyone can use that. Some people are claustrophobic. Some people don't
Could
like
be a mental thing.
It is. Some people don't like the straps on their face. And sometimes it's not necessary. Sometimes the sleep physician will say, hey, make them an oral appliance. That's what they need.
Yeah.
So the way that we help in our office is, you know, people deal with all these issues and health concerns that Dr. Agar is mentioning, is we can help you sleep better with an oral appliance. It's a small little retainer, kind of goes in your mouth, top and bottom, and it holds you in a position where you can sleep at night. So I think that's the difference is what is going to solve the problem and how can we help? And that's in our office, as you kind of alluded to, that's how we help. We help people with the small oral appliance that gets them to a place where they're going to have a better quality of life.
It's a simpler way to achieve the same goal for
Exactly.
some people. So
exactly.
We're about to get kicked off the radio, so
like permanently?
No, just for they get mad when I cut into Clay and Buck. So give out the phone number. You can call this number, get you an appointment, and then give the website too if people want to do some research and reading.
Sure.
Yeah, our number is 575-622-4455, 575-622-4455. We're on Facebook, Carabelli Dental.
Yeah.
And then, or if you want to go to our website, just search Google.
Yeah.
Carabelli Dental,
do some research, read some testimonies, read some, information about any of the procedures and
one thing that we haven't been so great about is you get so busy with doing dentistry and treating patients and really doing all that stuff that we probably need to.
About time to do some logistics on the Facebook and work on that a little bit.
It's just when you don't have any time in between, you're always doing stuff.
Like, I'm busy doing dentist stuff. I need to work on the marketing stuff. Yeah, I get you. So.
It's dentist stuff or running after the kids. So
one of the two.
Or being a dad or a mom. That side too. So.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
DJ Mike in the house.
We'll see dentist Sarah and dentist Keon later. Thanks, guys. It is 8:50. Let's go ahead and take a quick break before we get kicked off the radio. Don't go away.
Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing, and I know you've heard me say that you can trust Trustmark, but I want you to know what that looks like in real life. A few years ago, we installed a beautiful new roof for an older woman who was recently widowed. She was an artist, and colors were really important to her. So when she said she didn't like the color of a brand new roof, we took that seriously. She had picked the color and signed off on it, but I just kept thinking, if she's going to walk into her house every day and be disappointed, then we're just going to redo it. So we did. We ripped that beautiful new roof off and replaced it with a slightly different color, and she was thrilled. Yes, it cost us quite a bit of money to make her happy, but I want you to know you can trust Trustmark to make it exactly right every time. If you have any roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Roswell's home for talk radio is 106.5 FM. KEND Roswell.
From townhall.com, I'm John